Why can't I find the live stream?
Hi, everybody. I like how Mania talks to herself, so right when we're gonna go live, she's just... It's just happening. There's no going back. I did a little bit of an opening. I had her muted so that way you guys couldn't hear her when she was...
I think so. They heard me, or not?
Actually, they heard you. Well, you know. So it might have us streaming twice at once now. If you guys see a secondary stream, hopefully not. Well, whatever. This is the stream that we're at now, so I'm still grabbing your guys' chat, so it'll be 1 second while I do that. And I'm just gonna put that link in here. So hopefully people can find us, because ha 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 ha. My internet did a hiccup.
Oh.
As you do. So, who's with us? How is everybody?
This is Manya, aka Golden Unicorn on YouTube, and I'm doing fantastic, and I hope everybody else is also doing fantastic today. Welcome to the stream, guys. There we go. Next. Huh?
Oh no, I said Sweet Heathen and Ditto.
Okay.
Dad. Let's go.
It's time.
Huh?
Nikki?
What?
That's Nikki. Or
Yeah,
that's
hi,
guys. I don't know. I'm not sure where to point.
That's Nikki. By the way.
It's in a circle.
If you
Just,
don't know who she
just
is,
go in a
that's your
circle with your finger. You'll eventually land on me. Hi guys. How are we doing? Oh.
Alrighty, let's
Sounds
do
fun.
this.
Oh, I muted myself. My bad. Well, this is gonna be good.
Our leader
We're all
is
just waiting.
silent. What's going on here?
Woohoo!
Silence.
I have not even had any of this. I had like 2 sips and I'm just toasted. This is great.
Can we see you, Josh? I can't see you. I'm not sure if everybody else
Oh, they can see me on the outside. I have to do it on the outside, otherwise when I'm when I'm sharing screens, nobody can see me at all. So, unfortunately, is a little bit of a limitation on Discord. So, because it can't can't talk to each other. So, that's the way it is. Okay, let me just get this going. Okay, cool. Cool, I can see everything. Fantastic. Looks like everything is going well. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. I am not panicking. Everything's fine. Okay.
This is fine.
We're doing parenting today. Get the screen share.
Parenting is the epitome of the "this is fine" meme. Yes.
This is fine. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Oh, now it's been stuck in my head all night.
Good.
Oh,
That's where it belongs.
Damn it. Damn it. It's been so long.
Oh, that's
Alright.
so cool.
Steve's like, Shesh did her hair. It must be important.
Oh, thanks. I just thanks. I'll take the compliment.
Thank you so much.
You look good.
So Steve, are you trying to say that if I don't do makeup, then the topic's not important enough for me?
That's pretty
there you go.
That's
Yep.
pretty
Yep. It's to be expected.
Actually,
I
no,
mean,
you know, it's fair, because sometimes, like, Steve will do his hair sometimes, and sometimes he
What
won't.
happened here?
Oh, Nikki's gone.
Oh, we lost Nikki.
Nikki! Come back, no!
I have a weird button.
Oh, I
Yeah, it
got
had
a little bit of
weird
lag.
flicker, and
Yeah, that was really bizarre. Never seen
Yeah.
it before.
we have
interesting
and
time.
stuff, so.
We're having some
So,
technical
I don't know,
issues.
I can see 2 screens here, one with Shesh and one, okay. Now
There's
it's better,
Nikki.
much better.
Okay.
Nikki's back.
Okay.
Everything's
Ah,
okay.
now I
Everybody's
see.
alright.
Gotcha.
I just got like kicked out. Did that happen to everyone?
Yeah, you were
There
gone
we
for a
go, I
second.
can go here.
Actually,
have an
Shesh, I think you can, I think you can show yourself because we have another window which says watch stream.
Yeah, it's
I think
got
so
both of
yourself-
us now. It's got both of us
Yeah.
now. But I don't
Yeah,
want to.
so-
Should I try and do that right now? Should I try and quit it while we're live? Should we do We've got enough problems already.
Experiments, yeah.
Okay,
why
okay,
not?
okay. Let's do it. Let me turn this
Yay.
off. I'll turn this off and see if it'll let me turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's thinking about it.
It
It's thinking about it.
is thinking about it.
I
You
might
guys
have
can
to.
hear me, right?
I might
Yes.
have to like turn off OBS to get it to change over though. That's sort of the problem. Unless maybe if I do this. Yes.
Yeah, I guess
And
we
then-
shouldn't.
No, it's fine if we can't see you, as long as everybody else can, but unless there's a reason that we should.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. Nah.
Waiting with
Alright.
bated
That's
breath.
what-
Right. Alright,
Just
Yeah,
Come on,
so
we
I'm gonna
already
fight
got
with
2
it.
super chats. We've got 2 super chats here.
Oh, okay. Do you want to read them?
Yeah, I will. And so we have Super Mommy 76 Advocate for $10. Uni is horrible, but we all got you. Much love. And I'm like,
Aw, thanks.
thank you.
Yeah.
And then Ilya Moon for
Gracias.
$5. Hashtag WBW. Shesh, would you what do you say? Educate our audiences on what that abbreviation means.
So WBW is the new thing going around because some moron decided to call a bunch of people that he didn't know anything about, whether their age or nor their race, that they were a bunch of white boomer women. So WBW is white boomer women. So if you see that hanging around, that's us because, these two above me, definitely white boomers.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
White.
Steve for 5 also said, here's your damn 95% of my life.
Oh, that was crude. That was so cool. Oh, we have Amy, we got Nikki, we got Just Fred, Charlotte. Oh my god.
We got everybody coming over today. This is gonna be good. Oh, could you
Good.
not
Yeah.
minimize everything on my
And just
screen? That would
FYI,
be
I'm
good,
not in the
thanks.
chat, but at me, and if somebody wants to direct me to that, whatever. But
Yeah.
just I'm not watching. I can't. Technical reasons.
Tishesh or your
Yeah, no, things
sharing
just
screen.
disappeared. This is one of those days that I'm having because Discord decided to minimize itself and it shouldn't have. There we go. It should be back now.
Okay. Alright.
Hooray!
Nothing,
Alright.
no problem at all. Just minor technical difficulties.
My
guys. Just hang in there
computer's-
with us.
My computer's just chugging a little bit right now.
What
Which
did you
is
make
funny
it
because
drink?
it says the excellent. Oh god! If anything makes me drink, it's technical difficulties. All right. So we want to say that there's what? How many of us are parents in here? One of us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
we
I
just-
You
think
are also
only
parent,
one,
Tish.
yeah.
You're parent to a pet.
Oh, yeah, but people get mad if you make that comparison.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah,
for
it's-
the record, but it's,
Thanks.
I don't think it's the same thing, but I don't get mad.
That's fair.
We could have gotten Steve on. He's also a parent, isn't he? But,
He's not a white boomer woman. He's
Yeah,
not allowed in
usually
here. This
are
is
here.
girls' club. There's no boys allowed in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
gross.
Wait, then
Oh,
why
it's
What's that of there?
Oh shit.
We're not real women, so we don't belong
Oh,
here.
oh,
Oh
yeah. that's
yeah,
all
forgot about
ruined.
that.
All right, so fair warning. This is gonna be opinions. Only one of us here is actually a parent, and we're gonna do our best, and we just want to kind of help. We just want to help out. So we're gonna
It's
tell a
fun.
couple.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell a couple
And take
stories.
anything- yeah.
Some of
Grain
them
of
are
salt.
relationship based. Some of them are like parent to child relationships. Some of it's like father and mother relationships. So we'll see where we go. This is supposed to be fun, but I'm sure some of it will get a little bit problematic. Especially since this top one says, "I hate being a parent and I resent my autistic daughter."
Oh,
Ugh.
that's honest. That's horrible, but it's honest. Ugh. Yeah.
I can't believe I'm
Alright,
writing this
already-
out. I
Go on.
I feel like this is just kind of important. I hate my
Alright,
life.
let's see.
I hate it. I feel like I was absolutely robbed. I got pregnant really young, high school, even though I was on birth control. I was pressured by my religious family to keep the baby, so I did. When she was 4, we ended up discovering she had Asperger's. Her dad and I broke up, which was fine with me, but he faded out when he got married and had more kids, and at this point he isn't coming around at all. He hasn't seen her in 6 months. Being a single parent is one thing, but doing it with a child that requires so much attention and focus is exhausting. She is now 12, and by now I'm just fucking done. Everything is a battle. I work so hard to spend quality time with her even though I hate it. I cuddle with her on the couch, tell her I love her, hug her, and do my best to make her feel loved, but all of it is forced. I've been so patient for so long. People always talk about how great of a mother I am, and I hate hearing that because every day is hell. I try to give her a normal life. She has chores. I take her on vacations and generally do my best to give her a happy childhood. I work really hard to finish high school, then college, buy a nice house in the best neighborhood in the best school district. I've given her everything I can. Meanwhile, I'm miserable. Because of her Asperger's, she lacks empathy. On days when she acts like a nightmare, I am left in tears. She doesn't even care. She'll barge into my room, see me crying, and nonchalantly ask me for a Pop-Tart or something. I have never seen her show any genuine interest in my feelings, good or bad. I feel like I've done everything right. I've gone to all of the parenting classes, seen therapists, done family counseling, read all of the books, and it hasn't helped at all. I'm just surviving, nothing more. People don't want to date me because I'm a single mom. The ones that do come around find my daughter to be annoying because she has no sense of personal boundaries or appropriate social behavior. She has no friends. I'm utterly alone. Being a parent has done nothing but limit me. I had a scholarship I had to throw away. She's at the age now where she should be able to be left at home, and I can't do that. I can't advance my career because I need to be ready to get to school if she acts out. I'm smart and driven and have goals, and it's all completely wasted because my role as a parent has dwindled down to caretaker. Edit. I should also add she has a serious sensory disorder, dyslexia, and ADHD.
Holy cow.
This
That's
is what I thought this was kind of important. I know that I said we were supposed to have fun, but I really think it's important.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, whoa, man.
Sorry.
Heavy right out of the gate.
I lied. You were not prepared. I really thought it was important to make it clear that being a parent isn't always pleasant. And sometimes if you've gotten to the point where you're not a parent anymore and you feel like you're just taking care of somebody, there's some things that are wrong. So the edit, if you noticed, thanks everyone for the kind words and advice. I'm already calming down a little bit and the guilt of everything I said setting in. Thanks for being there for me in a really dark time. Parents have dark times too. They're people. If you're a child, please recognize that your parent is a human being.
Whoa.
Maybe?
Until they address the children. Yeah,
Ashley.
Until they address the children.
Ashley for $9.99 says, thank you, Chesh, for being so kind to me and alive. Other channels dropped me since I sent Steve a super chat. Laughing emoji. I support who I want, hearts. Oh, I'm sorry.
Aww. That's
I'm surprised. It happens often, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is really rough. It's not easy to be a parent, period.
No.
Right?
No, it is not. And as much as everybody seems to understand that, like to a degree of at least accept it, that parenting isn't easy. Most people do accept that parenting isn't easy.
No.
You really don't understand exactly how uneasy it is until you're there. And I don't say that to diminish other people's understanding or their intelligence, but there's, like when you're young, if you've never been in love before, you don't really know what being in love feels like, right? You know what it sounds like, you know what people describe it as, you understand it's powerful and it's important and it overpowers everything about you. But until you actually feel it, it's not the same. You don't really know it. So with parenting, like when you know it and you've gone through it, I mean, I can say from experience, it's so much different than I was so sure I understood it would be in a lot of ways. A lot of things are what I thought it would be. But a lot of things aren't, and there are surprises every day. There are curveballs every day, and you have to adjust, or you create a bigger problem. Do I get it right all the time? Hell no.
Oh, yeah.
I try.
Yeah, kids
This
can
to
be,
me-
especially teenagers, like they can be
Yeah.
brutal sometimes.
Oh
When
yeah.
they're angry.
So just to
Yep.
gauge, so everybody knows where I'm at. My daughter is 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but when they're angry and when they say stuff when they're angry, they can be brutal sometimes, and it's very hard not to take that personally and
Yes.
keep your focus at, okay, that's just a child talking to me when they're angry or something like that. It can be
Yeah.
a shit show and it can hit you hard because as Sweet said, parents are humans too. And I remember now from my own childhood, I've been a shitty teenager sometimes. Like, majority of the times, yeah, I've been a good, obedient kid. But when I used to get angry and frustrated when I couldn't, communicate, I could get brutal sometimes. And yeah, and I did receive a whacking for that. Back up.
Mr.
Like,
Victory.
excuse me, what did you say? And
Mr.
then the general
Victory-
came out of like whackity whack.
Mr. Victory makes a really good point and says it doesn't matter if it's hard to be a parent or not. There are some things that should not be said for the kid to find out one day. That's a good point. However, something like this is written on Reddit on a throwaway account. This is anonymous. The likelihood that this person is going to know and then know that it's their mom is very, very unlikely. On the other hand, though, sometimes this is the exact thing that a kid needs to hear when they get old enough to understand that their parent doesn't hate them, they're struggling, and that they're people too, and you need to be able to communicate that. Now, you need to be able to communicate that in a positive and in a good, healthy manner. So this, I would say, would need to be reworded if you were going to present it to the child. But sometimes you've just gotta put your foot down and be like, okay, listen here, fucko. Fuck you, you little shit. And that's necessary sometimes. A good example is a story I read or listened to the other day about somebody their kid went full red pill incel and was sniffing their younger sister's underwear. Like, what do you do? Right?
Yeah, we have read one of those, haven't we? We read it on one
do you
of our
think? Do you think that parent is like, what do I do with my kid?
Well, yeah, the best thing I can think of, I only have one child, but if I were in that situation, the best thing I can think of is just start family therapy.
They did.
And talk about it one-on-one.
They did.
With myself with a therapist. Okay.
Oh, yeah. They did.
That's all
they
you
did.
I mean, you hope for the best. And the thing is, everybody's different. So one kid might sniff their sister's underwear and have therapy and be fine. Another kid may not be. They may need continuing attention for the rest of their life. You don't know what their issue is. You have to find out what that issue is before you can treat it, right?
The only real
parents,
thing,
unfortunately, don't do that. Sorry.
Right. The only real thing I could even recommend for this parent is that she needs a support group of her own. Like, whatever she's doing for her kid, she's doing as much as she can. What she's not doing is she's not doing enough for herself and her own mental state. She needs help and needs friends. She needs to be able to walk away. The kid is 12, so she needs to find a capable, trustworthy babysitter and build a support group for herself. So it sounds like she's done everything she can to build a support group for her kid, but has neglected herself in this case.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
not uncommon either. I mean, there's enough women who, like, look for support groups, but they literally can't get one. And it's just, like...
Well, that's when they resort to posting on Reddit.
Yeah, and they're also trained to not look for help. It's like, oh, well, you're just a mom, and that's not that hard of a job, so, just figure it out.
For some, and it's like people, majority of some, especially conservatives, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't characterize, but some people think that as soon as you give birth, parenting skills just appear out of thin air.
Particularly for the mom.
Maternal instincts will solve it all. No, that's not
how that works. Or the paternal instincts, or the grandmother, or the grandfather instincts, whatever. Yeah, it's not like that. Some people are not good parents, however hard they try. They can't do it. And some people, they're very good parents. Some people learn to be good parents, and some people can never learn to be good parents, whatever they do. But it should not be held against them that they can't do it. If they are genuinely trying and still not being able to do it. Not like they've given up. Also, what I read in the first few lines, she said she had the kid quite early, right?
Yeah.
She was young, quite young. in high school.
Basically
thought...
forced to have her too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's where the resentment starts. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
and I've had friends like that. I've had two friends. Well, I've had three friends who have had children with special needs. Two of those women were forced to have those children.
Yeah.
One of them found out early on that they were likely going to be a high risk for this problem, and she wanted to abort very early on. Her husband wouldn't let her. Another one just wasn't really into being pregnant at all anyways, but she didn't believe in abortion, so she just went through with it. But both of them, shortly after they were born, there's postpartum issues. That's a whole other discussion with postpartum.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
But that happened. But where the kids were their special needs were immediately apparent and an immediate concern, and doctor's visits had to be every week, and they had to do this and they had to do that. It's exhausting. I saw what they went through.
Yeah.
And to feel like in the beginning, in the first place at all, never mind to have one that has all of these responsibilities and these extras, it's really difficult. And I understand that it's easy to look at these women on the surface and say, oh, you're horrible monsters. How could you say that about your child? Like, you have to, again, like you said, they're human beings. Like, that part I was like, yes, they're human beings. But the part where she said, kids, understand your parents are human, so if they're saying these things or they're expressing this or whatever, they don't hate you, but it's like how you express yourself to your child matters.
Yeah.
No matter how I felt, and I adore my daughter. I'm very blessed that she's a very healthy young lady that she's turning into. But, and even if she wasn't, I'm saying I wouldn't adore her. Don't put words in my mouth, but for God's sakes, I'm saying that I'm blessed with what I've gotten. But it's you can't blame them if they don't feel that maternal oversense power of, this kid is my everything and all I care about. Not everybody even has that naturally. And it's really wrong that people assume, especially for women, like, oh, you're made, like, your purpose is to be maternal. It doesn't make it's not the way it works any more than a man is made to be paternal. Some are, some aren't. And it's if a girl says, I don't want to have a kid, don't force them to have a kid, because this is what happens, man.
It's not good for anybody.
Held
Yeah.
to women are held to this standard that they must be perfect at all times, not just with motherhood, but also with everything else. Like, morally, we're held to a greater standard. So a man could be like, oh, well, I hate my kids, I hate my wife, and people like, haha, that's funny. But when a woman does it, but when a woman does it, it's, oh, that's deplorable, how dare you, like, men abandon their children all the time. This woman had the baby's father abandon her, and she's left picking up the pieces and somehow working her way through high school and college and still having an Asperger's baby in this one moment of weakness that she shows, where she's basically just getting therapy online, and people can take it the wrong way, like, she is so strong. She's stronger than I could ever be.
Yeah, especially in this is, remember, when people are talking about this, she's speaking anonymously. She's not talking to her kid. She's not talking to friends. She's talking, this is like a last ditch effort of, I am so overwhelmed. This is how I feel. That is a cry for help. And luckily, believe it or not, some of the communities on Reddit, if I'm not mistaken, this was under True Off My Chest. Depending on which subreddit you go to, there's actually a lot of supportive people on Reddit who will reach out, and now I'm sure she got plenty of DMs that were like, you're an awful person, go fuck yourself, blah, 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 blah. But there's probably a good number of people who are like, you know what, I know about this resource, this resource, here's how, and then they're able to help you and tell you where to go sometimes to get the assistance and how you need, and sometimes you just need to vent out and reach out and maybe get that support, even if it is an online community. Just be careful about trusting people with any more information besides, like, looking at the resources they're willing to give you.
Yeah.
So, should we move on to the next one?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's get out of here.
To me, this is...
Oh, is that a bad joke?
To me, this is almost akin to screaming into the void and having the void be like, "Hey, you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be all right." The void just like, "I got you, boo."
That was
It's
good.
so hard. Like, it's so hard to find people to talk to face right now.
Exactly.
People need to, like, yeah, I know people have been doing this anyways, but still, like, I'm not gonna assume that somebody's just not seeking actual help if they're venting online, because right now it's kind of all a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So maybe a little patience with that.
Today I fucked up by not properly explaining periods to my kids. I was unloading groceries with the help of my three toddler boys, and one of them found pads and tampons that I had purchased for my wife. He asked what they were, and I gave him a brief explanation of periods. I just told him that grown-up ladies bleed from their private parts, and it's totally normal, but they need tampons to clean up the blood. I went out later in the day and left the kids with my wife. When I got home, she told me that every time she peed, all 3 kids swarmed her with pads and tampons to help her. When she asked them why, they told her that I said she needs tampons to clean up her blood when she goes to the bathroom. I guess I forgot to tell them that periods don't last indefinitely when I had to re-explain it to them. And all 3 kids cried when we told them that periods don't happen all the time. Kids are weird.
That's really weird. That's funny. It's such a kid thing, though, and oh my god, how sweet.
I can imagine that.
This is how you should raise your boys, to help out with periods and not be dicks.
They weren't grossed out. They didn't make it weird. They were just like, "Oh, mom needs help. We're gonna help her." That's
Aww.
And then
so
they're like,
sweet.
"It's okay, mom doesn't need your help."
I can imagine that happening.
They were turning into like little white knights, and it got dashed.
Oh,
That is pretty precious.
oh, that's so cute. This is what I'm drinking tonight, by the way, Woodbridge.
Oh, Woodbridge
I think-
is okay. I have just cheap yellowtail, which is like Woodbridge, but a little bit different.
This is why I wanted to cover
Same
something a
price
little bit
bracket.
serious before we got into the silly, just so you guys kind of had a better idea of what our actual views on parenting are. And hey, guess what? It's okay if you feel resentment or if you feel upset. Your feelings are valid. You just need to address it and figure out a way to deal with it. You know,
And don't take it out on the kid.
sit down. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't beat yourself up too badly sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's okay to make mistakes. Oh my god, it's okay to make mistakes.
I need to put that. Like,
My
on the
mistake
top
has
of my
lasted
laptop.
18 years and he won't get out of my basement.
Oh. Oh, dang. That was
Sorry.
hard. That was like, ouch.
Oof.
Alright.
I'm already looking at dormitories. Don't get me
Honey, why
started.
are there broken condoms on the couch? Could you please call our children by their names?
Broken condoms.
Broken condoms.
You should know, if you adopt a very young child or baby, tell them they were adopted right from the start. Don't wait until they're older. Quote, the few studies that have that exist indicate. I skipped the word exist and got really confused. The few studies that exist indicate that late discovery of adoption is linked to psychological distress and feelings of anger, betrayal, depression, and anxiety. In this study, it links to the study. It states that, quote, results indicate that those who learned of their adoption from the ages of 3 and older reported more distress and lower life satisfaction when controlling for the amount of time adoptees have known their adopted status and use of coping strategies. Basically, if you tell them right from the start, including, of course, that you love them, it's much better for the child's mental health. We can
That's
definitely
very true.
go over the study more another time, but
I think we should. That's all, again, we can get into a lot of stuff on that. I actually studied child psychology for a while because I was becoming a parent and I wanted to know, a little bit about what I was getting into. Because of course we've all been children before, but we don't always, we don't have the sight to understand sometimes certain things. So yeah, it's I kind of lost where I was going with that, but
we need a refresher course.
yeah, it doesn't always come back in the moment either, right? So sometimes
Yeah.
our emotions and the impulse to react a certain way can override what you learned.
Right.
So still having a check on that's important too.
like like I said previously, some kids can be brutal, and to ignore that, what they can come up with when they really
Respect.
when they're really angry and they really want to get to you, and to ignore that, sometimes that's the
You're
basic
not my
instinct
real
Oh,
dad.
to
I remember what I was
react.
getting at. Sorry, what I was getting at though is that whole um, revealing things to them as early as possible. The earlier they know something, the more likely they are to accept it and be okay with it, and to be not shocked by it. You can tell
Yeah.
a very young child pretty much anything, and if they trust you,
Yeah.
they'll believe it and they'll just adjust.
They'll be
But
like,
yeah, the
oh,
earlier,
okay.
the harder it is.
Yeah, and you just
If anybody
explain that it doesn't
remembers the
matter.
Matrix movies, they said they didn't unplug people after a certain age normally because they would be too shocked to learn the
Yeah.
truth. It's just
Right.
too hard. And you see that with people with religion and so many other things. But with kids for adoption, I never understood that even.
Kids bounce
Why
when
is
they
it
fall
so,
over.
yeah, like
They're
why is it so
durable.
important for the kids to, they're so afraid that it's a social construct of what's normal, that you have a mother, a father, and their biological children. That
Yeah.
is a family unit. And anything different, oh my God, the kids won't understand. They're gonna freak out. You can't know that you're adopted. You can't know that, your mom, you have two moms. You can't know that you have two dads. Like, why? Every study I've ever seen, kids that were born into those situations and aware of those situations from the get-go,
Yep.
no problems at all.
Amy makes a really good point and says, same with any diagnosis as well. Let them know so that they can actually process that as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Helios,
yep, agree.
Helios for 10 says, my dad's version of the talk was to gather me and my brothers into the bedroom, tell my older brother and tell him that he was I think that's supposed to be a broken condom. I was a pill, and my youngest brother was both. Oh,
See, I explained, yeah, I'm not gonna get into it now, but like I explained a little
Ouch.
bit around that. It's important because, okay, so especially in a household, if you're a single parent, the kids are gonna ask. They're gonna
Yep.
want to know. Oh,
Yep.
my friends at school, they have, a mom and a dad, or they have two dad, whatever. They have two parents.
Don't wait for them to ask either. You don't have to.
Yeah,
You can tell them
ask, you don't have to volunteer necessarily. If they, the way I look at it, like the way my approach with my daughter, and people can tell me if I'm right or wrong or what they think, but I always left things is if she's asking me questions, she's ready for some answers.
Yeah.
And they may not be, you don't have to be graphic in the answers, but they're ready for some answers. They're looking for some actual
Information.
truth.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, oh, like, where do babies come from? Don't say this. Don't say this stork.
Yeah.
There are ways to approach that at every age level. And you can see what works for you. You have to know your child. There's so much of it is knowing your own child and what they can handle, and not looking at your own fears. And a mistake I've made, like if I can talk about like mistakes, a mistake I've made as a parent is sometimes thinking about how I've reacted to things at the same age as my daughter, and assuming that she's at the same level. I've
Yeah.
done that sometimes. I'm like, oh God, this was an issue for me that like, I don't want. Or like, oh, I was fine with this then. She'll be fine with it then. That's not the way it works.
Right.
You have to
Every
know
child
your
is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've learned that over time as she's gotten older, and communication gets better. And like I know her more now. And as they get older
Emily-
too, they express more about who they are as a person. So you can
Right.
read it better.
Emily says,
Just read-
both my kids have special needs. We've explained their diagnosis to them, but only is only 7. So one is only 7 and is intellectually disabled, so she doesn't understand. Correct. But the thing is that sometimes you can explain something and they don't need to understand right away. Sometimes you explain things more than once, and they'll put the pieces together. They'll figure it out. It's okay to, if they're not ready and you explain it to them, because you're not going to hurt them by explaining it, provided you're not like incredibly graphic for no reason. Because if they're not going to understand it, they're not going to get hurt by it.
Yeah, pretty much.
How could they?
I've drawn the same diagrams a few times. Because
Yeah.
after, one thing one year, she's like, okay, I get it. And then a couple years later, she's like, oh, hey, Mom, how does that work again? And I'm like, all right,
Right.
well, we'll just go over it again. Like,
Yeah,
that's
there's
fine.
nothing
And she's like,
wrong
oh,
with
okay. And
explaining
I
something
can
more than
see,
once.
I can see she gets it on a whole new level, and that's the whole point, right?
Oh,
How it
she
goes.
goes
Yeah.
like that.
It's like watching an old TV show. Like, you've been a kid and you've watched TV shows, and they throw jokes out there that you might not have understood the first
The
time, and then you
Simpsons.
watch them again when you're older, and you're like, ah.
I get that now.
Yep.
And then it gets awkward because then I remember so many shows and things I'd watch, even cartoons like The Simpsons and different shows like the cartoons like that. I'd watch with my father, and all of a sudden he'd be laughing at a joke, and I'd be like, "Why is that funny?" And he'd just be like, "Oh, it's not," and he's like, like he would not explain it.
There are
'Cause it was an
times
adult joke. And for
where
a
it's just like
father
you're
and a
not,
daughter,
you're
that can
really
be-
not gonna get it.
Yeah, and
You don't have
he
the
raised me
experience.
pretty much. I was raised mostly by my father. I lived with him, he had custody, so all those things I either talked to him about or he would defer, like my aunts would talk to me about it.
Yeah, I think that there's something to be said for jokes. Like, maybe don't bother explaining jokes to them because you're not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt them if they don't have that information, and they'll figure it out.
Again, case by case basis, and
Yeah.
depending on what it is.
Okay, is it okay for a 12-year-old to use tampons?
No.
No pads. I'm a first-time dad. My daughter is not even at that age, and pads. Tampons are really for when they are in their later teens, and after a larger penis has larger. Oh, sorry, no,
What?
large.
Whoa. I know what they're saying. They're saying a larger object.
Sorry, it doesn't say larger, it says large. I misread that. After a large penis has punctured the hymen, and they now need a cork for the leak instead of the pad for the drip.
Oh, come on. Do you
This
know
is the
that
person who answered the
you
question.
can bleed heavily even when the fucking hymen is intact. And this is this is
Hymens
a myth
are basically
that
myths,
hymen
too.
gets ruptured.
Yeah.
That's a myth. Okay, it's like a rubber band on a scrunch. Okay, that's like clouding the hole. That's where the penis is supposed to go, and that's all it is. Okay.
Don't read ahead, you
So-
guys. Don't read ahead.
I couldn't even if I wanted to. I can't see it. It's really tiny and blurry. But
Stop.
much like the
Like-
hymen.
And yeah, and for fuck's sake, it's okay if your child is comfortable and if they are guided properly on how to use a tampon, it's fine. Don't go around making these assumptions that the first thing that should go in your child's vagina should be a cock. Fuck it.
You said almost exactly what I was gonna say, just in a little bit of a different way. Yes.
Boom.
Yes. My philosophy on that with my daughter, I told her, I said, if you feel more comfortable, if you want to try to do that, that's, like health-wise, there's nothing, like a doctor will tell you, there's no downside to that as long as they're safe and they take it out when they're supposed to take it out. However, I think it should be a girl's choice on that. Let me say, my hymen broke when I was like 9. When I was riding a bike, I went over a bump.
Yeah.
And it was really bad.
Badunk.
No, and women talk about this. Girls with horseback riding
Sorry.
break their hymens early.
Soccer.
Because it's not that it's not just broken by an object. Like you can have an impact, and it's so delicate it ruptures.
Let me tell you how my hymen was
I knew that
broken.
was because I was.
Should I tell you?
I had to ask.
Should I-
I was scared.
Should I tell you how my hymen was broken? I was let me just say I was half the age that kid is being talked about when my hymen was broken. So stop putting the value of girls and women in the fucking hymen, for fuck's sake, you dense motherfuckers. Like, stop.
Nick, you got anything to add to this one?
Gross. It's ignorant and gross. I don't.
Yeah. As
The
long as your
hymen's not
kid's
gross. The
happy,
idea is gross.
they're able to manage their periods, that's fine. Who cares?
Let the girl be comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially the active ones, the ones who are doing sports, and the ones that are, like they need to have that extra security. I was wearing, when I was 16, I started wearing tampons and pads because I was an active kid. I did a lot of stuff. you know?
trouble I
And
went
before
through.
that, I guess,
Yeah.
it was, but
When I was
no,
in
I
high
get that.
school, I would play football, right? Soccer. I still play soccer. You know how much trouble I had, like with my flow when I used to play, wearing those pads. I would have loved to have tampons in at that
Mhm,
age,
mhm.
and to be able to manage my periods. By the time I would go home, yeah. And sometimes while playing in the middle of it, you could see streaks of blood going down my inner thigh, and
Yeah,
I had to be substituted out so I could just go and change it.
that's
Like,
exactly why I started using them. Before
fuck,
that,
man.
I was starting to say, like, before that, the reason I didn't, I was raised religious. You don't put anything in there.
We
Not for fun, not for utility, and eventually, like, I just got to a point where I'm like,
I
"That's
didn't
stupid."
know I did not know that tampons existed in high school. I did not know about them.
That's awful.
Yeah, and I wished I had known. And I know my mother would have supported that. She would
Yeah.
have. But we didn't have that. We didn't have that information. And that
Yeah.
was like, yeah. So yeah, someone needs to sit down with that dad and talk him out of it. Like, don't go there like that. Ugh.
My best advice in those situations, especially if you're a dad and you have a daughter, or you're a mom and you have a son, and these types of things make you uncomfortable, take them to their primary care physician and have them have the conversation with them. And
And
then
move.
ask, no, I'm serious. This is what
Yeah.
I did when I was,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
went through, and it was helpful for me. And I had an aunt who's my godmother, who was extremely liberal with this stuff and very understanding. She gave me the talk in a doctor's office about, and she was very clear that like sometimes sex is for fun and all this stuff. And I was shocked because she's a religious woman, like she's a Catholic. I'm like, oh wow, like she's telling me all this stuff. But the fact that she was so open with me, and I had a couple other people that were open with me about this stuff, that kind of together with the idea of being responsible was
Communication.
why I waited to actually have sex until I was 18, because I wanted to be responsible.
If
Um,
if you're going to treat your children as if they're 5 forever, they're going to act like they're 5 forever.
Yeah.
If your child is 12 and bleeding from their vagina, you can probably start talking to them about it. You could probably even start talking to them about it before that, to be honest.
Probably, so
however-
they're not terrified.
Moon
Yeah.
said real quick, and please don't give your girls a cake with red icing and roses when they start.
Oh God, yes,
Oh
Moon.
god.
Oh
You're
my
a woman
gosh.
now. Fucking hell.
So
That's actually like a popular thing. Like apparently in Japan they have period parties basically.
I want a period
It's like-
party. This show is my period
when a girl
party.
Okay,
when
I
a
need sugar
girl-
for this talk.
gets her first
Yeah.
period, they like have an entire party and they have like little cupcakes with vaginas on them.
I got
And
cupcakes.
you take a bite and the middle will be filled with like a red frosting.
Mm.
Brilliant.
That's
Yeah.
adorable. Sure, fine.
Adorable.
However-
Yeah, that's the word for it. Adorable.
So yeah. I don't know. The thing is like, if the kid thinks it's cute, right? If the kid thinks it's cute, okay.
Well, see, I kind of like that though,
How?
because it normalizes something
does.
that
What? Yeah, I
is
think
a
that's what
bodily
it is. What
function.
you're celebrating.
What are you
Like-
celebrating?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my issue with that is it takes me back, and again, this is me being triggered, but
Let's
not
get
saying
a
it's like
triggered
this for
sweet
them.
heathen.
Oh, you don't want triggered sweet heathen. Triggered sweet heathen is nothing but trouble. We all know this. However,
If it makes you feel any better, I'm not allowed to have any fun.
you
What?
have the fun. You have the fun, and we live vicariously through you. If you're not having fun, we're not having fun.
I keep getting told that I'm not allowed to have any fun because we all know what happens when the goblin starts having fun.
Oh yeah.
It's no good for anybody.
No, but the thing is, it's
Yeah.
like when you're celebrating a period with a girl, the issue with that for me is that if you go back to biblical times, they
Oh, yeah.
celebrated, and not too long ago, like 200 years ago, they
Yeah.
celebrated the period of a girl because she could get married and have
Now you can
kids.
get pregnant.
Immediately.
But that's not gonna.
Immediately.
You're
Right,
Now
but
you can get babies.
No, you're not.
But that's not going to. But that's not going to apply in Japan because that wasn't something that was a thing there
But,
in the same
well,
way. So
I
it's
don't
it's
know
the
their-
context is very different.
But I do. But okay.
Yeah.
But my point is that with Japan,
Yeah.
have you seen Japanese porn? You
Oh.
cannot say that they do not fetishize.
Well,
Yeah.
young.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
That's
not
actually
saying-
kind of different.
It is.
I
it
have
is,
a
but
little
I'm just
bit of
saying the click in your head when you hear these things. I think it's important.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
talk about, you can't assume everything's innocent. You shouldn't assume it's all bad. You can't go, oh, period parties, that's so fun. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind that, and the reasons behind why you're celebrating.
Yeah, it depends on what you're
different
doing with
cultures.
it. Yeah.
And then how it can be perceived based on what else you know about
Mhm.
that culture. I'm not saying that's a Japanese thing. I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that
You're talking in general, yeah.
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 And it's
Well,
like when I said it's
okay.
adorable, it was saying that sarcastically because it made me like kind of sick for a second, only because
Yeah.
of my history and my experience. Like I would never
Right.
do that to my daughter. I wouldn't I
Well-
wouldn't do it in that way. However, I like it's fine, it's just natural. It's like, oh, it's just something that happens. Like it's not that big of a deal. And you know, I told her, I'm like, it's on
That's the
purpose.
other option, yeah.
You're gonna be miserable. There are gonna be times, there are gonna be days you wake up and you want to die, because that's just the way it goes. We have Midol, we have all these things that we try to do to, you know, like counteract it. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's and every woman's different. Like I have PCOS, right? Like so, it's torture for me. It's hard.
Ooh.
And now we're like in like I was saying before,
Right.
perfect timing because we're synced up. But it's you know, these things like, oh, it's so great, and like congratulations. Like, what are you celebrating? Really, what are you celebrating?
Well, I would actually celebrate that the kid might be more aware of their body now. Maybe, you know,
Maybe.
maybe you can
Are
celebrate
they?
that. But
Are they?
yeah, if you're like, oh, you are a young woman now, like, bleh.
Okay, hold on. If we're
Yeah.
doing that, we gotta do parties for guys when their balls drop.
Oh,
Yep.
gross.
Yeah.
Even worse. That's worse.
You're a
than
young
career.
man now. Fuck. I'm so messed up.
The only
You can make
difference-
babies.
that's the thing though. But boys can make it's like it's earlier. I remember a sick story from when I was younger that
Oh God.
a female teacher had a baby with like a 2-year-old.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Or like that, yeah. It's not just men that are pedophile. Sorry, I want to say the word. Don't want to say the word.
Predators.
No, no,
It's
no, no,
not
no,
just
no, no.
men.
Predators.
It's not
Predators.
just men. And this was when I was young. I just remember it happening, and I remember the story. I could look it up if people don't believe me, but I don't know why they wouldn't.
No, it has
Um,
happened. Women are also predators.
Basically,
Yeah,
a
I've
woman
heard.
was a predator against a very, very, very young child, and they had a child together that was only a few years younger than their father.
Nope.
that's
Nope.
how that
We're
works.
gonna move on to the next one real quick because
My
we're
point-
open at
yes,
this
my
conversation
point-
real quick. Holy
only
shit. Okay, are we ready?
Ugh.
Yeah, don't celebrate
Stop,
the sexualization
stop,
of kids.
Stop. Yes, thank you. That's what I was getting at. Thank you, Manya.
Another mic
Okay.
drop. Boom.
Am I the asshole for not wanting? I wanted to bring this one up now because it matches with the other one. Am I the asshole for not wanting my daughter to wear a tampon? Throw away for obvious reasons. Speaking about sexualizing children, I have a 13-year-old daughter who has been having her period for a few years now. I am the primary caretaker as her mother works away from home most of the time. I recently noticed that her mother bought her a pack of tampons since they were in the cupboard underneath her sink. I don't have any issues with her wearing regular feminine hygiene products. I don't know what about a tampon isn't regular, but okay.
Because it goes in there.
Wait,
It's not a penis, Shish.
Hey, you know what
That's
else
what's
goes in
not
there?
regular about it.
You know what else goes in there? Rings, the diaphragm one. If you get the little pot, if you get the little cup thingy that goes up in there, that goes
And I'm
inside
sorry,
too.
because
yeah.
a lot of girls' fingers once they get of that age. It happens.
Or before. You know, kids get curious.
And more, I mean, sorry to tell you this, dads, but some girls break their own hymens. It happens.
I don't have
Yeah.
any issues with her wearing regular feminine hygiene products, and I've bought her pads before, but she doesn't have any kind of reason to be using tampons right now. Any kind of reason.
There doesn't have to be
I'm
any
sure. I'm
Her
sure
period
her.
is the reason.
Yeah, right,
she's
yeah, her
not.
period is the
Damn
reason.
it.
No other
She's-
reason needed.
Oh no, hold on. He's gonna debunk all that real quick. She's not participating in any sports teams or swimming, and
Alright.
she hasn't ever voiced any issues with her wearing pads over the last few years. To you, I spoke
Yeah.
to my
Yeah.
sister about this last week, and she also thinks that it's a bit ridiculous for a 13-year-old and not entirely age appropriate. I think that she's too young for this, and her mother is sexualizing her in a way that I don't feel particularly comfortable.
Oh, really?
No,
Oh,
stop.
boy.
Again, you almost had me. I was almost on board, like sympathetic. Okay, I understand. If she doesn't care and she doesn't need it,
It's
you
scary
know,
for
don't
the
force
daddies.
it on her. Don't be like, hey, you should use these tampons. Don't do that. Don't tell her she should use the tampons.
Just give her the
She's
options.
expressing if she wants to, and I'm sorry, sexualizing her by telling her she can use the tampon.
Yeah, it's actually the opposite. Like,
Yes,
he's actually sexualizing her by
He's-
not letting her
yes.
use the
he is
tampon.
sexualizing her vagina. Yes,
Yeah.
he is
Like,
policing
get
her with
your
her
shit
vagina.
together, man. Sorry,
God
I was
damn.
clapping.
So-
I can't. I'm so glad that my daughter.
I
isn't
think
terrible
she is-
tampons. I don't have
she's-
to worry about it, but it's like.
I think she's too young for this, and her mother is sexualizing her in a way that I don't feel particularly comfortable. I told
Really?
her that, is it because you're projecting? I told her that I won't be letting her get more tampons after this box expires, since she's not even in high school yet, which she's rather angry about.
Wait, whoa. So he's letting her use one box of tampons, but not in the future? Why? The damage is done, man. I'm sorry.
Her
It's already
mother
there.
thinks
It's already in.
Right?
her
Like-
her mother thinks that this is misogynistic. I wonder why. Which I don't agree with. Shocker. Quote, bracket, if I had a son, I wouldn't buy him condoms at this age either.
Really?
I'm
Even if
sorry,
he was
a
sexually
tampon
active? Really?
No. Whoa. Not even then. Whoa, back up. Back the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I figured we were gonna have to pause there. Go ahead.
Sorry.
God, do I even have to say it? Do I
Yeah,
even have to explain
apparently.
what it is?
Apparently.
Let's do this.
Please tell me, sweet, how condoms and tampons are related. Are they the same kind?
No.
They are not the same kind. They are not in the same family. They are
At
not.
all.
Oh my god. So tampons.
I've read all these already. I know what's coming.
I'm gonna speak to
Go for it.
anybody who legitimately. I'm not gonna be mean. Legitimately, anybody who does not understand this. Okay.
Be mean. Fuck them.
Tampons go in the vagina with the explicit purpose to absorb blood during a period. They don't go in there for fun. It is not for pleasure. As a matter of fact, it's so unpleasurable that tampon manufacturers have, over time, constantly strived to make the process and the experience comfortable. Because in general, it's not. But it's effective. It works. It's a good thing. There are different things like cups and all sorts of stuff. However, none of that, just like, I'll get to that, none of that has to do with sex at all. Breaking the hymen has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with value, any of that. Condoms are not there to stop the boy from bleeding uncontrollably because that's what he does. The boy is not ejaculating spontaneously where he needs a container. And if he does and he has that condition, totally different issue. Totally different.
Right.
conversation.
Well, that would be a different. You wouldn't be using condoms for that.
The condom's function is to prevent pregnancy
It does.
and sexually transmitted diseases, which are two things
Wait.
that tampons have nothing to do with
Do you think
at all.
Do you think that this guy is saying that dudes should be
Okay.
using condoms to prevent
I don't know.
pregnancies?
I don't know what that means.
I mean that would mean that the condom would be there and it would have to go in the dude to soak up all
That's
the
where
all the
we
semen.
realize that he's sexualizing his kid. He's
Well, no,
sexualizing a. Ah!
Not even
Like-
that. Does he think tampons prevent pregnancy, and that's what they're for?
No, and no.
This is a good
This
one.
is like.
I'm
this
glad
is
we
like-
did this. This is quality time. Alright, are you ready? We're not done
Jess,
yet.
Please. I gotta read these things ahead of time, man. I can't.
You can. I gave you access. It's not my fault
I
you
know.
didn't go look.
Oh no, I said I need to. My response, me. I fucked up.
Also, because she doesn't really need them. That's not for you to decide, bud. Sorry.
Yeah, but let your child decide that. For
It's her
fuck's
period. She's allowed to manage it however she wants.
yeah.
With
and
proper
there's-
education. With proper
And there's-
education.
Yeah, with proper education and proper use, there are no long-lasting side effects. Period. Quote,
I
period.
know that most people wouldn't think of tampons as inherently sexual, but my daughter has also asked for birth control for her periods, although there are
Yay!
tons of different
good.
painkillers,
Wow,
and
that's
I
so
think
good.
that she is using this as a gateway to possibly become sexually active. So, Reddit,
Have you-
This
Have
is
you
what I'm
asked your
starting to
daughter?
think.
Did you sit down with your daughter and have that talk? Maybe
Hey.
the mom had that talk.
Hey, you guys
Fucking
remember?
Maybe.
You guys
Maybe.
remember real quick that this is
Maybe.
called "Am I the Asshole"?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are the asshole.
And can I remind people again, like I said earlier, I have PCOS. I've had PCOS my whole life.
Wow.
I started birth control when I was 16 years old to manage my PCOS and my period. Was I sexually active? No. Was I desiring to become sexually active? Not really. I was pretty
Whoa.
adamant about waiting until I was 18. I started birth control is not just for birth control. That those hormone pills save girls' lives. They
They
save
do.
girls' lives because there are some forms of issues that girls have where they could have a stroke or blood clot or a lot of other issues before they even have their 21st birthday or before. Stop looking at birth control as, oh my God, my daughter's going to have sex. That's not how that works. If you are doing your parent job right, then you will have some sort of idea about where their head's at. If you're not
Yeah.
talking to them and you're scared, that's your fault.
Edit. I also don't think she's mature enough to change them often. That's a legitimate concern.
Nope.
That is the only legitimate concern in this entire thing. But hey, guess what? Sounds like your wife's got this one, bud.
Yeah, she must have already. If she's talking about tampons and birth control, I think some mother and daughter have already sat down and had that talk. Either you join that conversation or fuck off.
If you guys really want, I can show you the Reddit or the thread where somebody was taking
Yes,
screenshots
please.
of this guy's answers because he started
Yes,
arguing. Would you like to see that?
Oh please, let's do this.
So
Oh,
much no, but so much yes. Okay.
yes.
All right. It's loading.
Yes,
It's
do
loading.
It. Yes.
It's gonna take a
Go
minute.
for it.
So
Do it.
let's do another one while my thing loads because it's gonna take a minute.
Yep.
Because my
Okay.
computer's being slow
I'm here
today.
listening. I'm listening off camera for a second. I'll be here then.
Browned of my daughter.
Yeah, if you guys are like, okay, 2X chromosomes is where this one's from. My daughter is 14 and has unfortunately started to attract the attention of men who should know better than to catcall children.
Oh god. Ew.
The lewd stares
Okay.
and foul comments, it makes me so mad seeing her deal with the same exact bullshit from older men that I had to put up with at her age. Will this ever change? They cop an earful from me when I'm with her, so I always hope I'm setting the example so she knows it's not right and she doesn't have to accept it. I was waiting for the train the other day with my daughter and her friend. The three of us have very different skin colors. This older man walking past commented, "Hello, ladies. Chocolate, vanilla, and caramel, my three favorite colors." That's an impressive pickup line, dude. Where'd you get that one? Then licked his lips at us. It was honestly comical how disgusting he sounded. Before I could say anything, my daughter spoke up to him. "Why would you talk to people like that? That's gross, and we're only 14, so that's even more gross. Are you a pedophile?"
Bam!
And the old man scuffled off looking pretty embarrassed, hopefully to go home and rethink his behavior. I am so proud of her. At that age, I'd have been way too awkward and shy to speak up like that. I'm glad she feels strong enough to stand up for herself, but so sad that she has to at all.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that...
Get him! Kick his ass! Verbally.
Yep, kick his ass to the curb, and pound him into the mud where he belongs. But the other thing is also, like, some of us don't, like, some of the women don't retaliate because they are scared that, you know, it can get worse. You know?
Right.
There have been,
well, they don't know how the men are going to respond, and some men respond
Yeah.
violently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there have been instances where men just come back and just physically harm the woman because she either embarrassed them or she spoke up.
Right.
So, and there was this experiment where, you know, a woman went through the city and, you know, they heard the cat calls and everything, they recorded it, and they asked the men...
Oh, hold up, guys, we might have lost the stream for
camera.
a second. We might have lost the stream for a second. Just give me a second.
No.
Did we rip the stream? I hope we didn't rip the stream.
It's still going.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
go ahead then.
I can see it's still going.
Sorry.
So, nope, that's fine.
Perfect.
And you know the camera, like the reporters, they confronted the people who were catcalling women, and the men doubled down. They had the audacity to double it down. They say, "Oh, it's a compliment. Women should just shut up and take it." And you're like, really? It's like, ugh. It's this attitude, and I don't know in which generation this attitude will get negated out. You know, it's about
probably
time.
Won't.
It probably won't.
I mean,
Maybe, yeah.
this kind of hatred doesn't just like go away completely. So.
I hear Sweet looks like she's talking and we can't hear her. Sweet, are you muted? We can't hear you.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Still
Nope.
can't hear her.
we can't hear you. Oh no, we don't know what happened to no Sweet. Why no? We can see you. Oh, there she goes. She disappeared. Nope, she's back.
She's coming back. I think that
No,
she's
we
trying
still
to-
can't. We still can't hear you. Is your microphone muted up here?
Oh,
Did you check
she-
your headset microphone? You don't have a mute button? Oh no! We're having a technical difficulties day.
Please stand by for the technical difficulties. We will be back with you as soon as possible. Please don't go away and listen to this wonderful song while we work it out.
Do 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 da 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 da. Hey, do 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 do.
Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.
Should I play the thing again? I'm gonna play the thing again. Okay, ready? Yeah, we did it. I played the thing.
Ba-dum-bum,
Why does
ba-dum-bum,
I'm getting really annoyed because also on my end, my thing keeps freezing, and I'm really not happy that it keeps freezing. I don't like it.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hey!
All right, so I'm sorry guys. I had an error message I saw on top in red that said Discord cannot detect your mic for some reason. And I was trying to figure out some settings, but I'm like, let me just unplug it and plug it back in and see what happens, and that seems to have worked, so I'm very sorry. I don't know what happened. But
This is what I get for
I don't
using
know.
Firefox.
I muted myself for a minute, and then I unmuted, and then you can hear me. I don't know what happened, but
It just-
moving on.
it
Go
broke-
on.
it
Maybe it's
broke
the Discord.
itself.
The Discord just took a shit.
It just broke itself. I'm just having my computer is just shitting the bed today, and I'm really not happy about it.
It's been
And
a
it
lot.
sucks. It's making me mad.
Honestly, I've had a lot of technical issues with a few apps today. I don't know. Something in
Well,
the air.
I before I do streams,
apocalypse!
I always check to make
Yay!
sure.
Giant Meteor 2020.
Oh God. Can we not?
What happened, Shish?
Oh, no. I don't want the giant meteor. I'm really not in the mood.
Well, the meteor
I'm
has to
always in the
change
mood
its
for
course
meteor.
now because the Gobo Queen said so.
Can we call it the Me
Go away.
Too meteor?
I'm sorry. So, what were we before? Get back on
We were
track.
like-
Back on track.
We were
I
like,
don't even
either be part of
remember.
the conversation, Dad, or just fuck off. And
Oh,
then we were like,
yeah.
okay, let's see what he got into with the commentators to that post.
Yes.
And I think so.
What
Shesh said he got into arguments with the people trying to help him out with this.
Well,
And
okay, so
no
here's the
wonder why.
thing. This dumbass asked if he was the asshole. Then he started arguing with people who told him he was the asshole. And they went into explicit detail as to why he is the asshole. So let me pull up a couple of these for you guys. I'm gonna.
He's an
Attention. It's like, man, like you're wrong. You're wrong.
Let
like,
me
it's
just
okay.
switch
But
this
you're
screen
wrong.
share.
Just
okay to be
let this girl, let this young girl deal with what she's dealing with the parent that is the same sex that understands how this works. If you don't trust your wife, that's a whole other issue, man. Like you gotta.
Right?
Yeah, then you had to sort it out with your wife, man. Don't
Yeah,
spoil
like,
it
just
for your
keep-
kid because you have issues with your wife. And I
And
hate
did
it when
you-
parents do that.
And did you notice that he said that he's primary caretaker just because she works away from home sometimes? Like,
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
What?
That makes you the primary caretaker? Really? I think so. We know who's the primary caretaker here right now.
like he doesn't. Well, he says that just because he's around his children more often, he's the primary caretaker.
He's
like-
not saying that like.
Oh. Well, I think my Discord crashed. We lost everybody. What
like,
the
if I'm not
hell?
traveling and
Oh, there we
doing
go.
my
But
thing with my career.
Apparently, yeah, even though, according to him, the mother is the secondary, like, I don't know what does that mean, the caretaker, she's the one who was able to have that conversation about tampons and the birth pails with her. Not him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know who's the primary caretaker here. Man,
At least in
yeah.
that situation. Like, and honestly, alright, as an example, my mother wasn't around much in my early childhood and for a lot of times in my life, but that I did to talk to her about was she helped me with certain things, but even though she was not anywhere close to being even, you can even call her a caregiver, never mind a primarily, she was not even there. But I can understand. Like, so with this woman, so even if he's telling the truth, that she's not super around much or actively involved, there might be some things that you should defer to her on because she understands the child better than you do because she went through it. That's
Or
not
maybe
a bad
she
thing.
just
If
doesn't
I had
want
a
to
son-
talk to you because you're being a dick.
Yeah, that too. Like if I had a son and their father was like, oh no, I want like this is this way because it's what I went through, I'd at least listen to it. I'd at least want to know, like, okay, well, I want to hear your experience and we can figure that out. I'm not going to write them off just because they're not around as much. You know? It's crazy.
So I've already got my Firefox not responding, but you guys should be able to see this right now. So I can at least show you the first picture, because I don't know why I'm having so many technical difficulties today, but this is just horrible, and whatever. You're the asshole for
I know.
You're the asshole for not wanting her to have tampon. You're the asshole for not wanting her to have tampons, for not allowing birth control, which reduces cramp/pain way better than any painkiller could, and also for not giving her protections when she does become sexually active. Her body, her choice. Feeling cleaner is a good reason to use tampons, or smell reduction, or maybe she's using both because otherwise she leaks through. Guy's response: she's only 13 and does not legally have bodily autonomy, and she's never had any issues with
God.
discomfort as far as he knows.
Oh.
Response:
No.
how do you know
Okay.
she could feel more
Does he not
comfortable
have bodily autonomy?
Really? So can he marry
Alright,
her off
go-
if he chooses
go.
to? Really? Ah! Ooh.
I think some people maybe really need to think through what the phrases they're using. Because I'm gonna be charitable. I'm gonna be charitable.
That's nice
And
of
I'm
you.
gonna assume, yeah, I'm a nice guy, right? I'm gonna assume that what he meant was that she does not have the mental capacity to consent to objects being put in her body. If I'm being extra careful,
Okay.
Well,
this is all right. So I'm trying to devil's advocate here. Just bear with me.
yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
What he's saying is that she, you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it. He's an asshole. Fuck it. You can't say she doesn't have bodily autonomy. I don't care how old my daughter's been. Unless it was medically necessary, the only time I have ever overridden my daughter's bodily autonomy was like when she was little. Like, I have to change her diaper. I have to suck that stuff out of your nose that you don't want me to suck out of your nose. She didn't want me to do that, but I had to do it for her own benefit. I had to massage her tummy when she was constipated, and she hated it, but I had to do it for her benefit. Those are different things. But when you're old enough to say, I don't like how this feels, and I do like how this feels, that's bodily autonomy. That's when you're actually like, they're expressing things to you, and it's not when it doesn't harm or benefit them in any way, one way or another. How dare you? How dare you say that my personal icky feelings override what makes
My
you
daughter's
comfortable?
needs.
Yes.
I switched
Fuck
over to
you,
Google
man.
Chrome to hope that this works better, so, you know, fingers crossed.
Aw.
Come on, Chrome, don't let me down.
I use Microsoft
Chrome's
Edge.
always been good for me.
I'm sorry, what did you just say, Manya? Do we have to annex you from the group?
What did she say?
Did you catch that? I heard that.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Stay in the live chat. Say in the chat. Say in the side chat.
So, chat's about to lose their damn minds. That's what's about to happen.
Stop.
What'd you say, Manya?
The browser I use. Just guess it.
Oh, is it Edge? Did you say? Is it Edge? Is it? Is it? No, Manya, no, Manya.
She went off camera. She went off camera. She was so ashamed. We're kicking her out. She's not part of the group anymore.
No.
Me too, but it's so. Oh God. It's okay. We'll have this discussion off air, Manya.
In my defense, it came installed with my stuff, okay? In my defense, it came installed with
That's
my
not a
stuff,
defense.
It's not a defense, but I don't hate you for it.
I do.
Hold on.
I do a little bit.
I don't hate you for it, Manya. It's okay. I'm okay.
It seems that she saw herself out, so I guess we're good. She did the honorable thing. Committed seppuku.
Oh man.
Alright, I gotta find the. Here we go. This is quality time.
Please come back.
Bad experiences with Chrome. I've had very bad
Really?
experiences with Chrome, yeah. It's like, it's shitted my laptop out so much, like, it eats my
wow.
laptop's processing speed.
It does.
Yeah,
okay.
don't
Well,
you dare
that makes
disrespect
sense.
my
That
feelings.
makes sense. So for the longest time, I used to use Firefox because it was the better way back.
That's what I've been
way
using,
back.
but it keeps crashing on me tonight for some reason, and I'm very very sad about it. Okay.
Do you want
So-
me to share my screen and maybe put it up on my screen?
No, don't put fucking Microsoft Edge on this stream. No.
I feel violated.
I already feel violated enough that you brought it up. I'm triggered as hell right now. I don't know what you mean. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I want to disappear into the earth right now. I'm so sorry, guys.
You finally gave the trolls something to actually attack you about. Good job.
No.
I can't. I'm like, all right. Whatever they say. I'll concede. Oh, man.
All right, so let's take a look at how people responded to this dumbass saying that she doesn't have bodily autonomy at 13. How do you know she could feel more comfortable talking to her mother about this sort of stuff? Understandably. Every girl has issues with discomfort on your period because it fucking sucks. You need to accept that your daughter and her mother know better than you in this case. OP's response: we mostly have a great relationship and discuss everything. I'm in no way, what is this?
Puritanical.
Puritanical? That is how that's pronounced?
Yep.
Puritanical about health things. She could have discussed it with me. Clearly, you're not puritanical? You literally just said she doesn't have bodily autonomy. Why the fuck could she talk to you?
That is like the most fucked up thing in the whole thing. God damn.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we're still going.
That, like, people treat their children like they're...
Sorry, Nikki.
No, you're fine. People treat their children like they're objects
Property.
or toys
Yeah.
so much, yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, I see it most in, like, Christian families, but parents legitimately treat their children like possessions.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely,
That's my child.
Religious families. Yeah.
My child, I made this
My child, my choice.
so this child is my property, yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
And
How
it's,
they grow,
it's
they want to mold them into their image. It's like
Or
it's
what
not
they-
exactly. It has
Or
to
what
They're
be-
they
not
want them
people.
to be, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
they're
Or
not people.
as a
They're little
means-
clumps of clay.
But like, it's like, how do you forget? Like, I don't forget when I was a kid. I don't forget how that feels. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I've had people want to form me in their image. Like, I know what that feels like. How do you forget that? If you've
Or
been
actually, kids are either treated as property or dolls, you know, to flaunt, you know, look, I'm such a good parent, blah, blah. Or they're means to make a relationship better. If husband and wife are not getting along, just have a kid, you will be fine. And you're like, really?
friend, I have a
no?
friend who gave into that. His wife was like,
Oh.
"Oh, we have a kid. We have to have a kid. We have to have a kid." And he was like, "Fine, I'll give you a kid." Like, it was like that's how it was. And he gave her a kid, and now they're getting divorced. Now like, there's a kid, and she's like almost 3.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
so congratulations, bitch. That's what you did. Like, I hope you're happy.
All right,
You
so
wanted
let's...
a kid, you got one, now take care of it.
Hey guys, wave to chat. They're on
No,
screen
now
now.
she's
Hi,
fucking him over
chat.
with child support, but that's a whole other issue.
If
What
you're
happened?
looking at the stream, you can see chat now. Hi, chat.
Hey, Jet.
Chat's on
Hey,
my
yo.
I love you. I'm sorry I'm not in there, but I'm here.
response.
I'm
You're the
technologically
asshole. Tampons are not a gateway to sexual activity. There's nothing sexual about tampons. In all bold, in massive text.
Nice.
Tampons
Nice
are more
color.
comfortable for a lot of people than pads. Why don't you strap on a wet blood covered pad to your crotch and see how it feels? It feels gross. I'm honestly disgusted by you. OP responds,
There's no way.
she's never said anything about feeling uncomfortable in pads, and I know many women that
Hey.
only use pads.
Oh.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop for a second because earlier, like I was saying, there's a little bit of truth to that. Okay, the main issue is every girl and woman is different. So
Yeah.
No.
I know, stalker. I'm sorry. I know I blew some minds
How
right now.
dare you,
Right.
sweet? How dare you? Women are a homogeneous group, don't you know?
I know.
And
I'm
all
so
of them
sorry.
have the same requirements. Don't you know?
I'm shoving that pill just down your throat. We're different. And like I said, with tampons, companies have strived for a long time to make them comfortable. Because for a lot of girls and women, they are not comfortable. However, what this person is saying about pads is true. For some girls and women, they would prefer tampons over pads because they don't like the feeling of sitting in their own, their blood and whatnot.
For
So,
hours on
for hours on end, if that's the way it goes. And again, like I said, when I get older,
like if you're in high school maybe,
works.
or going to
Yeah.
class in junior high maybe.
I had no, like when I figured it out finally, a
I'm out of
tampon plus a
wine.
pad is perfect because you have that extra protection, you feel confident, and when you're that age, the whole odor thing and the worrying about leaks. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is for a child to be in school and to get up and her classmates to see a stain on her back hand. This father wants his daughter. He wants to risk his daughter going through that kind of embarrassment that she shouldn't have to feel in the first place. That's a whole other issue. But this is a way to prevent even her having to worry about that with no actual consequence.
There's no damage.
So he admitted, right,
There's
that they
no
haven't had a
damage, there's no
conversation.
downside. Yeah.
Well,
He admitted that they didn't have the conversation on that topic. So when you haven't had the conversation on the topic, how do you know what she prefers and what she doesn't prefer?
He doesn't.
Have you asked her?
Because
Sometimes
he's
you
like,
don't
well,
know
she
what
could have
her
talked to
option
me.
is.
Oh,
Her absence of complaint is basically his only defense. Just because she hasn't complained about all this. Like,
to him.
over and over, he keeps saying she didn't complain about this before. It's like,
to him.
Protect my daughter's vagina, because, you know, reasons. And
okay, you ready?
I can see the anecdote. Oh, God.
The response to this one was, so Opie had said she never said anything about feeling uncomfortable, blah, 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 blah. Response, that's exactly it, though. It's a choice. Tampons might feel more comfortable. There's less chance of bleeding through. They don't show through clothing. They don't get all sweaty and scrunched up and move around in your pants. I've never worn a tampon, and I'm 20... I'm over 20 years old. That means shit all. If your daughter is more comfortable wearing tampons, let her. If you think tampons are sexual, you should probably speak to a therapist.
Yep. Preach.
And there it is. That's exactly right.
You're the asshole.
Nothing sexual about tampons.
I cannot express enough how tampons are not sexualizing. They stop blood from coming out of your vagina. That is in no way sexual. Like all pads, so also smell a lot worse, therefore making you smell worse. They last a lot longer and are more comfortable as they feel as if they are not there compared to pads, which are bulky and uncomfortable. And also, if you're wearing tight-fitted clothing, such as leggings, they show up. She may not have voiced these concerns to you as she felt uncomfortable. I started wearing tampons at 13 as I have heavy flow, and tampons are more effective and more comfortable. Birth control is different to painkillers. It makes your periods less heavy, as well as weakening cramps. Bracket, sounds to me like her period is too heavy for regular pads, so she wants tampons and birth control. End bracket. All these are valid. Now,
they're all valid.
She is only at home now, so I don't understand why she would need to wear tight-fitted clothing for the next few days.
That's the only thing you got? That's the only thing you got out of that conversation? Seriously?
Here's the point.
What the Go on.
Right over the head.
Oh my god!
It's like that GIF, you know? The point.
Yeah, God.
Into the trash can.
I invite you to wear a diaper for 10 days every month. Now you know what pads feel like. Not only that, but wear diapers that cause irritation. Oh, and you have to piss in them, and you have to sit in that piss with clumps in it for 8 hours. You're not allowed to change it.
Yes.
And smell it and deal with it and all that stuff. Or, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get ahead of the whole, but there are scented pads and all that. They're bad for you. They're bad for you. There's all kinds of studies that talk about all these chemicals are not good for your vagina. I'm sorry, hey guys.
Difference.
I know some of you are still stuck.
I knew this was gonna be one we wanted to go in on, so I made sure to save these.
But like, you know what is supposed to go in and around the vagina as far as cleaning it? Water. Just water. No soap, no douching. That's all bad stuff. It's all stuff that is contrived of, men saying, I want a vagina to smell this way, I want it to smell that way. It's crazy, as if like your balls smell like magic. Like, come on. Like when you work out and you sweat.
It smells like
if you think it's us, like it's a woman thing.
This man's balls, he used Vagisil for men, and it smells like cherries wrapped in roses. For anybody who was watching DP last night, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Response. So somebody responded, "You're the asshole. You're the asshole. You don't get to tell your daughter how to manage her periods. You don't get to decide that it's not entirely age appropriate for her to use a tampon. There's nothing sexual or sexualizing about using tampons. It's all in your head. I was kind of surprised that you didn't include she might not be a virgin anymore in your list of problems. Also, using painkillers for menstrual cramps is nowhere near as effective as preventing the cramps in the first place. As a man, you have no idea how incredibly painful and debilitating menstrual cramps are. I do. It can feel as if you're being stabbed in the abdomen repeatedly over the course of hours. If you're worried about your daughter becoming sexually active too young, the best solution is to talk to her about your concerns.
One of the times, I've been banned from Facebook 3 times. Not banned, but like, you know.
We're gonna get kicked off of YouTube
I've been spanked by Facebook 3 times.
Oh.
One time was because I went after a keyword that I won't say in here, and I called her the C word. And Facebook decided that me calling her the C word was worse than her advocating for defending P words. Another time, I don't know what the time
it took me a minute to figure out what you meant by P words. I hate to inform you. I already said it.
Okay, I know, I kind of too. I guess I try, but you know, sometimes the frequency
That's true.
of what you say it matters,
That's fair.
so I still try. I try.
Fair enough. I appreciate your concern. I feel like we're gonna get demonetized anyway, so I don't think it matters.
Please bring me back to the conversation, because now I'm getting off. But so
he's not at all. Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So he's not at all taking in the points that are actually criticizing. That the problem is you, buddy. Heads up, the problem is you, and you're thinking. Your daughter's needs trump over what you think about her needs. That's it. And I don't know, is he that dense, or he is on purpose ignoring what they're explaining it to him? I think so he's doing it on purpose. Anything associated with something going in its kid's vagina, he's just ignoring that.
So that's
he's just ignoring that.
Yes. Yes, no, I'm glad you said that, because it makes me sound more credible for what I'm going to say.
Go for it.
There's the other time was because I was talking to somebody who was very religious, a man, and he said that he was talking about tampons, and he was saying that no one gets to decide when something goes in his daughter's vagina until he decides when something goes in his daughter's vagina. And I lost my this was like 10 years ago. Whatever, I lost
I have a picture that I saved on my phone that I'm gonna have to point out real quick. I saved it on my fucking phone. And so go ahead with what you're saying. I'm gonna pull this up and I'm gonna send it to myself so I can.
But it's like that kind of stuff. That mentality is out there. There are these men who believe that they have some sort of divine right to decide when their daughter not only has sex, but like who it's with and like all this stuff. And there's some sex and not, not saying sex, I'm saying sex, S-E-C-T, of like different religions and stuff that, I mean, like people actually observe their daughters getting their hymens broken. Like it's a thing. Especially back in the day, like people can't ignore that this is part of society in some places. This is a thing that's real. So again, when people talk about certain aspects of like celebrating this or parties for this or what it means when this happens, you have to understand where it's rooted from and take it with a grain of salt. Like, oh, you're a woman now. Like people say to me when I had a period, oh, you're a woman now. I wasn't a woman. I was a little girl. I wasn't a woman.
And that's another thing, right? The terminology that's used. Mm-hmm. We use boys for boys and men for men, but we use young women for girls. She's a girl, not a young woman.
Yeah. That's why with my daughter, like I said, young lady, it's like
it's almost
like,
a way to justify. It's like a way to justify it when men are being predatory. It's like, oh, it's well, she's developed, so I can look at her, and it's another excuse people use to write off when people what's the word, predatize that when they're being predatory to a girl.
Mhm.
They have to justify it to themselves and other
Oh
people.
God.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again,
Yeah.
that's just
more
the-
likely you know a pedophile, and they're a 25-year-old dude who's trying to date with and or get with a 13, 14-year-old girl.
you
Ooh,
know, maybe a
that's even
16 or
worse, yeah.
17-year-old where it's a little bit more what some people would say was a gray area. And it
Yeah,
becomes,
Start getting
you
into
know,
incel territory, yeah.
especially, yeah, it's a whole thing. Ugh.
Okay.
We didn't actually
Well-
read his response. Are you ready for his response to this?
No,
Oh,
but go ahead.
I read that already, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Her mother, my sister, and many other women are capable of just getting through their cramps, sometimes with with a painkiller or two. I don't see why she should be any different. Dumbass.
God doesn't want to, you fucking moron! What the
Okay. I want this one. I want this one.
pain,
I'm
no
calling
symptoms,
dibs.
nothing.
I'm calling dibs. I'm calling dibs. Her
Please.
mother, sister, and many other women are women and have had their periods for a long period of time. So, they may or may not, during that period of time, learned how to manage it via with painkillers. You really think your mother, who's had children, maybe their period changed or didn't change after having kids by the time you were
After
born?
some time.
Or maybe that menopause is a thing, or maybe that drinking wine is what they're actually using and not necessarily fucking Tylenol.
You know, okay, I'll tell you what.
Saying anything,
Right.
but I'm kind of saying
Okay.
something right now about my management with my issue. Yeah.
You know, when I started having periods, I would be in the first 2 days. I would be in great pain, in so much great pain that I wouldn't be able to function properly. Okay, I wouldn't be able to function. I would lie in my bed all day long and cry, right? And I would be nauseated. I wouldn't be able to focus on my studies, and my mom didn't let me have painkillers.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Because she was scared. She was scared that they will somehow mess with my reproductive system. And to date, she asked me if I have painkillers, and I tell
Oh,
her, I'm like, yep,
God.
I'm having painkillers. Whatever. I don't care what you think.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And
Meanwhile,
I
I'm
have.
throwing it at my daughter because she's like, I feel uncomfortable. I'm like, here's some ibuprofen. Ibuprofen makes your period
Take it,
shorter.
take it, take it.
And, yeah.
Yeah,
Take
there's
it, here.
no shame.
I used to
Pain management and getting addicted to painkillers are two different things.
Yes.
I
And
used to
Now-
They exist for a reason.
and to manage my periods, like my pimples and stuff,
Yeah.
I have my what the fuck, contraception pill.
yeah.
I have that now.
Yep.
I used
They're
to
good for that.
when I was in high school last year, I guess. I used to
And currently, because you're forever 17.
yeah, I'm currently I used to have to walk home from school because of how bad my cramps got, to the point where I was staring while I was walking with my bags during lunch period, going, okay, just 2 more squares of sidewalk. Okay, you made it. Just 2 more squares. I literally thought I was going to die in the ditch on my way home. And then I got in trouble when I got home for skipping out on school.
Oh man,
Sorry.
that sucks.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I
And
used
that's
to
the
have
thing.
to sit through school with cramps, with bloody cramps,
Yeah.
and try and focus on what the teacher was telling,
Yeah, good fucking
or
luck.
trying to teach.
You want to hear something really fucked up? So when I was in
Yeah.
9th grade, I was in Catholic school.
Because
until 8th
of
grade.
course you were.
Of course I was. So when I graduated Catholic school in 8th grade, and then I went to an all-girls Catholic school for high school to start. And the reason I left that school, the last straw, was because I was in class and I started getting my period. And I raised my hand and I said to the teacher, I said, may I please be excused to go to the ladies' room? And she's like, no, we're in the middle of a lecture, like we're in the middle of something. And I'm like, I'm having my female, like I need to go.
Yeah.
And she's like, later. She wouldn't let me go.
What do you mean
And I was
later?
like-
Hold it in.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. I'm like, I was confused. I'm like, you're a woman. Like, do you not and she was blaming me for not being prepared. and not already wearing what I should
Oh yeah,
have been
I would know
wearing.
exactly when your periods start in high school. You know
I'm-
exactly what day they're going to start on.
Or for I don't know what this is, like the third or fifth time. I have PCOS. If you know what PCOS is, you're irregular. You don't know when your period's gonna start. It just happens. Am I supposed to wear a pad all the time? When I was like a kid and I didn't know my rhythm yet, like now it's different.
And
You
pads
know, like
were
I know myself
expensive
better.
at
I
that
can,
point.
yeah, like I know myself now. I can feel when it's coming. But when I was 14, I didn't know. So I went to the bathroom anyway. So I'm sorry. Like my father taught me. He's like, I don't care what an adult tells you to do. If you know better and you have to do something, go do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm going to the bathroom. And I went to the bathroom, and when I got back, she would not let me in the class, and she sent me right to the principal, and I had detention that day. And I never went back to that school again after that day.
Could you imagine being an adult and taking beef with a 12-year-old for needing to go to the bathroom? What the fuck? I don't know how old you were.
It was insane, but it was a Catholic school, and it was like the responsibility for your disgusting problem was on you.
Oh, don't worry, it gets better. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
You ready? Are you sure? This dude is going to be so upset when he finds out she's likely already masturbating too.
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
The OP's response, she is only 13. I find it lewd that so many people on this thread are sexualizing her in that way. She would have told me if she was.
No, she will never tell you. The attitude you have, she will never, ever tell you.
Hold on. This adult man thinks his 13-year-old daughter is going to tell him when she masturbates.
Yeah, right.
Response, you are the one sexualizing her by equating tampons with anything to do with sexual activity or maturity. Vaginas aren't just for sex. For the record,
Do we really want to get into what age we were when we started touching ourselves? Do we really want to have that conversation? No, we don't.
Another day.
However, I'm not going to, but I will say it was before 13.
Let me tell you what sex education, if you don't have sex education or you don't talk about sex, can do with your psyche. It can mess you up. You are afraid of intimacy after a certain age if you are not involved sexually with people on,
I have a question
at right
for the
time
audience.
in your age. And it can cause more problems. It can actually sex can actually start causing you trauma if you are not used to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes. Especially if you're told it should cause you trauma.
Yeah, I have a question for the men that are watching. How many of you who have daughters or who can conceptualize potentially having a daughter, how many of you want your daughters to tell you this information?
I'm a mother of a daughter. It's her business. She doesn't have to tell me. I don't want to know. It is completely up to her. My job as a parent is to tell her what's safe and not safe. The end. After that,
don't masturbate after when you've recently utilized hot sauce.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Make sure you've thoroughly washed your hands, like very, very thoroughly.
Wash your hands, wash your toys.
If you would like a vibrator,
toys,
please,
especially your toys.
If you would like a vibrator, please talk to a family member or guardian that you are familiar with, that you want to talk to, like that you're comfortable with talking to. Do not use a fucking toothbrush. Get something that's actually gonna do the job for you. Bull also makes a very good point. Yeah. The hot sauce advice also applies to men. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Oh gosh, and when you enter a relationship, if you've eaten it, same thing.
Yeah, same thing applies. Same thing applies. And brushing your teeth is not good enough. Brushing your teeth is not good enough.
I'm not going to say who it was, it doesn't matter, but there was somebody in our community that maybe a year or two ago on Twitter, and I remember it because it struck me. couple put out that the mom took their daughter out shopping for sex toys when they hit puberty because they were expressing an interest in what things felt like.
Yep.
And it was a very controversial thread, but the fact that they were talking about it and having that conversation, I thought was progress. Really great.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you can argue over like what the right age is for that, but again, it kind of comes down to knowing your own kid.
Well, it comes down to the kid.
What would you rather have? What you would have rather had? Kid, go out, talk to a stranger, and buy something that might have actually hurt them, and might fall prey to a stranger, or stay at home, talk to you, have a good, safe discussion about it, and get something that's safe for them. And do it safely.
I'm not convinced.
Especially if it's something external, right? So
external, yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of like maybe you don't buy your 13-year-old daughter a dildo. There's certain things that
a small vibrator, maybe one of those little eggs.
They're aware about certain things. They're already aware about it, and they want to explore it. You would want them to explore it in a safe manner.
Well, I think that
at least talk to them about it. Like again, it's a kid. Like you can't. You can't.
I think Nikki might. I think Nikki might agree with me on this. I am not convinced that this father is a safe person for this girl to be talking to.
Nope.
God,
no, absolutely not.
Not only am I not convinced, I'm very convinced he's not.
Oh god.
And through again, he may be well intentioned and just ignorant, but goddamn, like, dude, you're stupid.
It's so weird to try and. It's so weird to try and think about talking about masturbation to like, not just your kids, but like any person that comes up to you and asks you about it, because society and schools and churches, if they go to one, God forbid. But it's just such a difficult subject to try and broach, especially at a certain age. But honestly, the more that we normalize masturbation, especially in girls, the healthier of a society I think we're gonna have. Because honestly, if I can be blunt and super gross,
please do.
Can I?
Okay. You're always allowed. Always.
We've got this dude sexualizing tampons. I don't know how much grosser we're gonna get.
I don't think you can make it worse.
Exactly. Well, I mean, ever since I was little, like, I never touched myself. Like, that area was off limits, and I never touched it. The first time I ever masturbated, I was drunk at 16. It was the first time I did either. And after that, I waited. I was like 18, 19 when I did it again, and I was very awkward, and I used a brush handle, and then I bought my first toy when I was like 22 years old. And only recently, literally recently, as in this year and a little bit last year, have I actually been like steadily like, I'll just say it. I've just been, masturbating consistently.
You got a collection now.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
In 2020, everybody's masturbating a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. Like literally.
Yeah.
I can contribute the growth of my nails, which I've my entire life I've suffered with anxiety and I have ADHD, both of which have side effects to where you chew your nails like crazy. And only now am I starting to grow my nails back, and it's because I'm consistently masturbating. It's a stress reliever. It clears your brain. It clears hormones. It balances your hormones. It is so important to mental health, and women don't do it because they feel dirty and they feel gross and they feel taboo about doing something that is so natural and that men do literally every day.
But we're not allowed. That sounds like bullshit to me.
It depends how you're raised, right? I was raised believing that boys will masturbate because they can't help it. They just kind of have to.
Yeah.
And they need to release their sperm, and it's fine. Yeah. But if a girl does it, you're just being dirty. Like there's no physical need for that. Like a female orgasm doesn't aid to baby making, so therefore it's just for pleasure, and therefore it's a sin.
It's bad.
You know. So
We got a
that's
question
a
from
really
Mr.
big
Victory.
issue, and I'm not even
Yes.
joking. When I was the times in my teens, like my early teens, lower my voice. I do have a dog upstairs. The times in my teens, like when I was feeling suicidal, a lot of it was because of the impulses I had that my religious upbringing told me would send me to hell and could potentially influence and ruin people around me. Like it was a contagious issue. But it was like if you're a sexual being, you corrupt people around you with your energy. And it was like
You succubus, you.
Yeah. Which it was this horrible feeling of I have these feelings, especially as a bisexual person, which made it worse because I wasn't just having these feelings towards guys or men. It was everybody. It was anybody I found attractive.
If anybody wants to remember what it's like to feel gross and be a teenager and be disgusting because you feel gross because you're a teenager and you're disgusting, I recommend watching the TV series Big Mouth. It is animated to look ugly. It's animated to be gross. It's awkward. It is uncomfortable. It is disgusting. And that's exactly what it's supposed. It's everything that is the awful stuff about being a teenager. And they've got the period monster. Or the puberty monster, and it's perfect. It encapsulates it so well.
Yeah. That's great. I wish that I had to remember that. I'm still trying to forget it.
Yeah, nope, bring it back. It's awful. Everything is awful.
It's
Everything's
still there.
awful.
It's all there. I need to get rid of it.
We got a question from Mr. Victory here. It says, question to the ladies, how does a dad make a daughter feel comfortable enough to come to talk to them about this if they need to? By not making a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Don't make a big deal about anything that is specific to one sex. Just don't make a big deal. If it matters to them, it matters to them. If you maybe ask them if they're comfortable. Don't ask too prying of questions, but more general questions. Talk about, be like, oh man, look at all the thing. If you're watching cable and you get an ad for tampons and just look over at her and be like, man, this shit, like they need to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like, be casual about it. It's not, don't be judgy.
Super casual.
And be casual about it, because it's really not. If you want somebody to be comfortable around you, you need to be comfortable with it. So if you're uncomfortable, your kid is going to pick up on that. So if you are uncomfortable as a man, you need to normalize it in your own life to yourself, so that way you are comfortable about it when she even asks the first time, before it's even happened. Hell, if you want to, initiate the conversation at a younger age and be like, hey, this is something that you're gonna have to deal with, so if this happens, don't be if you have to go to the bathroom and a bunch of blood shows up, don't be afraid. It's a normal thing that happens. Just let me know. I'll be able to help you out, etc., etc., etc. So I'm just gonna read the last bit of this one.
It's almost exposure therapy sometimes with men. Like, you have to kind of be out and open with it, like, you know. Don't immerse yourself in it, because that just kind of sounds gross, but like
creepy, you know, sounds like you're gonna be creepy. Don't be creepy.
Don't kink shame. Some guys are into that.
I mean, that's fine, but don't be creepy.
I'm not, but
but it's like, you know, talk about the stuff, like literally as much as you can. Talk about it, speak about it. Try not to ever talk about it in like a grossed out thing, like, oh, blood type of thing. I don't know. That could really
be
just
neutral on it. Don't sexualize it. Don't sexualize it. Be neutral on it.
Or if you can't bring yourself to be okay with it, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're a guy,
you don't have to force yourself.
If you're just like, oh my god, I don't understand this, and it freaks me out, or grosses me out, or whatever your issue or hang up is with it, and you're like, I don't know how to talk to my daughter about this, talk to a professional, or have your daughter talk to her doctor. There are plenty of people out there that can help her with that. You don't have to be the one. If she doesn't feel comfortable talking to you, Do not take it personally. There are
Oh
plenty
God,
of things I do
please.
not
This what
want
this
to
guy
talk to
is
my
doing.
father
This guy
about.
is taking this whole thing personally. She could
Yeah.
have talked to me about
There's
it.
so many
I'm
things
sexually my
I
daughter.
don't
I'm
wanna
sexualizing my
volunteer to
daughter. I don't know why
father.
she doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah, but that's not personal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tell my father about my blowjob technique. Like, that's not something I'm going to talk about.
Trisha
Yeah,
actually in
However,
Trisha in the chat real quick before you go on. Trisha in the chat real quick. It's 2020. Sit with your kids and watch documentaries on it and learn together.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good
Want to
idea.
learn.
Depends on the age.
Maybe, depends.
I would say depending on the kid. Depending on
Depends on the kid, depends on the
environment,
age.
I would not want to do that with my father when I was a kid. Because
Yeah,
of how I
but your dad
raised.
was
If
kind
you
of a
raised
dick.
And part of it too, a lot of people are like, oh, I've been an asshole or I've been wrong in the past raising my kid. I want to fix it now, and that's great. You have to consider how you've raised that kid.
You also
because if you
need
raise that kid to
Yeah.
feel a certain way, telling them I was wrong and you shouldn't feel that way, it's not a light switch. You can't just turn off what you've done.
Need to.
And I'm sorry. You need to like build that in a slow way.
Yeah, if you're a parent
fix
who's
it.
done that and you're trying to rectify that, you need to come to your kid on their terms when they are comfortable.
When they are
Respecting boundaries, any boundaries that they do, respect those.
Yes.
Like, just because you're somebody's parent does not mean that they cannot put boundaries up with you. Like,
I would also like to point out,
no,
real quick.
When they're adults, they have every right. Even when they're teenagers, they have
Even when
every
they're
right to
kids.
put up boundaries.
Yep, and respect those boundaries as long as they're reasonable.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're worried, again, talk to the doctor. Talk to
Yeah,
the family
don't
counselor.
go out, don't go around ripping doorknobs or doors off kids.
Oh,
No,
God.
Oh God.
Don't put cameras
Let them
in
have
kids'
a
room either. That's
lock.
fucking
Oh,
gross.
Don't do that.
No.
No.
God.
I've seen
Parents do that.
posts about this. I've seen posts about this from under our entitled parents. The response that the teenagers always get from Reddit is, see if you can get that recording off of their computers, submit it to the police. That's what people are telling those children. Do not do that, because now you're
Don't do
masturbate in front of the camera and then give it to the police, because now they're in possession of pornography.
Yeah.
Yup, that's the advice they're gonna get from the internet.
Do
Do not put cameras in your kids' bedrooms, you crazy people.
God, that's
But Trisha, I
Even
also
if
think
you're
Trisha has a bit of
like-
a better point, because there's a really good argument to be made that any parent looking to educate themselves and do better in their communication probably is not the parent. Is the parent that will be okay to have watch both of those things at the same time. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out maybe a curveball here. Maybe I'm reaching out on a limb here and say, sweet, I don't think your dad was probably the kind of person to be concerned about that shit.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Like, my father, I'm gonna be careful in case he ever watches this.
No, he might get his
truthful.
fifis hurt.
I'm gonna be careful, but truthful. Old-fashioned, but very empathetic. Very in tune and focused on what was best for me. And he actually listened to me on things. It was not about my trust for him or my feeling secure with him or comfortable with him. It was very strictly because I had been raised the way that I was raised, regardless of how he treated me when I hit that age.
Right.
I was already
The expectation was already set.
feeling that I should not talk about these things with my father.
Right.
That a girl
you were
talks to a
conditioned.
girl,
You were conditioned that way.
Yeah, and it wasn't. If I wasn't, then there was nothing about him that would prevent me from talking to him about it.
Yeah.
Right.
It was only that other stuff.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
it was
this
not
dude
his
has made it
fault in any
very.
way, yeah.
The guy that we're dealing
This
with
guy's
here
different. Yeah.
has made it very, very clear that his daughter can't talk to him about this because his answer is that, well, there's no need for you to wear tight clothing. Like, fuck you.
No.
So to go
Only
on,
thing
he
he
said,
got out of that conversation. Only thing. Fuck, he's narrow-minded.
for the record, since you seem to assume she'd talk to you about these things, I have always been super close with my dad. He was the one that I went to and bought my pads when I first started at 10 years old. There is so much I would only talk to my mom about when it came to periods, including the fact that my periods were so heavy at 13 that I was bleeding through a combination of tampons and pads in a matter of a couple of hours. You know what my doctor did? Put me on birth control. Wow.
Yeah.
You don't get to dictate this, my dude. You must be coming from the United States. Yes, I think society is very sexualized these days. What? Response. You're the one sexualizing here. Tampons are sanitary products like toilet paper. Something used to deal with a natural body process, nothing more. Either you're a troll or you're just too stupid to realize you're the only one making this sexual.
Ouch.
I love Reddit sometimes. Not the asshole.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this one. This guy's not the asshole. The world has become so incredibly sexualized, and tampons are a slippery slope as a gateway product from other forms of insertion. Username checks out. Response from OP. Thank you for understanding where I'm coming from. They were being sarcastic. You realize the only person you agreed with is the troll account called Indefensible Position, right? You just got whooshed by but you're so caught up you don't even realize it. Correct. The first one I read that said not the asshole is an account called Indefensible Position.
Wow.
Got it.
Well, this guy's fake. This guy's fake.
What a moron. God. Ugh. They call us
Why are you using UK spelling if you're from the US? I have UK English keyboard on my phone. I find it more appealing. Oh, so you're also pretentious.
Bam!
This just got shredded.
color with you?
There's something to be said about when you're a teenage girl and you're growing up around a man that is your father, but you're kind of scared of him because when you're alone you feel these things that are just like
It's
strange.
pressure.
Like why is he looking at me like that? Did I just catch my own father looking at my butt? And then you realize that he actually did touch one of my siblings. And then you realize that he's still doing it and he's still looking at your body parts, and just this deeply unsettling, just the feeling that you are just unsafe.
Even if
And
he's
it's
not
just-
attracted to you, he might still be sexualizing you, like in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I had that
And
issue with a
I just feel so bad for this girl because when your father starts sexualizing you and you become a woman, you can tell, like you can just
You might
just
not
feel
know what it
weird
is
when you're alone.
Yeah, you might not know what it is, but yeah, no, I felt like that before in the past.
Yeah, I think a lot of us
honestly,
have. For me, a lot of it, like it's not just like, oh, I think he is, but I never had that issue with my father because my father's a decent guy. But as far as that goes, I had an issue with that with my stepfather. But with my father, the problem was my mother would give, like when I would see her on occasion, she would enforce in me, like, make sure you don't wear this around your father. Because you might make him feel this.
My mom did that to me all the time.
And I was like, why? And it was like, and he never made me feel that way. But I had to feel weird about it because of her. And her bullshit.
Well, it's like when you hear that type of thing, it's like, oh, go change because of somebody. Go change because of your grandfather, your uncle. Like,
make your kid more conscious than they are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, no, At 8 years old, if I was being
sexualized,
it was my fault.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because of the stuff I'm wearing.
That's literally what
wearing
it's
that you bought me, Mom.
I think we all agree, not all men, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know,
all right.
That's the message.
Since we're on a theme of periods, I'm gonna jump to this one. Are you ready? We got time for one more.
For your information, my mom was so scared, like with that attitude that Sweet saying the mothers have. She wouldn't let me watch movies with my brother when we were teenagers. When we became teenagers, she wouldn't let us watch movies late night while sitting in one of our rooms. Like it was either my room or his room. She would come in and check regularly, and I'm like, "Oh shit, Mom, stop!" Sorry.
Yeah.
Had to let it out.
Like that kind of stuff, real quick. That's what leads
Messes you
to
up.
them trying to do stuff. When you say, "Hey, you guys gotta be separated," because if you're not, you might experiment. When they finally get some time alone, regardless of the situation, regardless of the relation, they might try to experiment because kids want to do the opposite of what they're told to do.
Because you put the idea in
I
their
had
head.
the idea in their head.
Am I the asshole?
I'm sorry.
We were
They're so mad.
We were
The whole episode is just Mick-triggered.
Who's Mick-triggered?
It's just
You and Sweet.
No, it's so infuriating because I'm
You're
sorry.
not wrong.
And
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Okay.
I will bet my left arm. There's one person in the chat, at least one person in the chat that knows exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
So Trish is asking me a question. Manya.
Yeah.
Manya. It's Manya. It's M-A-N-Y-A, hun. It's okay. Did something happen? Did something maybe happen to your mom growing up, or just her upbringing? Something happened with me when I was growing up, and I think so. Where you're coming from, maybe it stemmed from there, but that's she's then projecting it onto my brother. My brother, my young baby brother, who I smacked around like.
Like baby brothers are 4.
So she didn't know how to handle that fear about something that had happened to me.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So
yes.
So am I the asshole?
This is internet will remember forever.
I just want to give it. I forget who said that, but just to justify what you said, yes, a lot of times a parent will go through a trauma in their childhood, and they will project that onto the kid and worry,
or project that onto somebody else. Yep, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a lot of cases because they overcompensate. But I'm sorry, Chash, go on. I want to address that.
No, you're right.
You made a good point. That's all.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for telling my stepdaughter to stop using period products in the bathroom she shares with my teenage sons? You want to talk about what you were just saying?
Well, she used them in a room.
Yes. Next.
I've been living with my new wife and stepdaughter for about 6 months now. She is 19, almost 20, and I have 3 sons, ages 18, 16, and 15. She's a really good kid, and she's a good influence on my sons. I really enjoy having her around. I wanted to use this one because it's got a positive at the end, I promise. I'm not trolling.
Right. I feel angry already. I feel the anger building.
Yeah,
it's in my chest.
Better not.
I'm gonna zoom it in. I'm gonna zoom it in enough so you guys can't see what else is gonna show up.
Yeah.
I really enjoy having her around. My wife and her daughter moved into my house and sold theirs. My stepdaughter's father isn't present in her life, nor is my son's mother. All 4 children share a bathroom. My sons have never lived for a long period with a woman, nor have any of them had long-term girlfriends. They had short visitation periods when they were younger, but never longer than an hour, so living with 2 women has been unusual for them. Yeah, that's fair. My eldest son, 18, came to me last week and told me that his stepsister disposes of her used sanitary products in the trash they share, but doesn't use toilet roll or sandwich bags to disguise what they are, and it makes him uncomfortable, which I think is reasonable. My sons are teenage boys and don't want to see their stepsister's period products on full display.
Yeah.
Would you like to pause? Yep, go for it, Sweet. You've got the floor.
I will insert here. This tradition of hiding sanitary products. It makes me so angry. Like when I used to go to chemist shop to buy these sanitary products, they will wrap it in a newspaper and put it in a black bag, polythene bag, and tie it on the top and hand it over to me. And after a while, when I came into high school and stuff, I would just be so irritated by that. Maybe they're trying not to embarrass me. Maybe they're trying to do it for me. They think they're doing it for me for trying not to embarrass me. Maybe they think that while going back home, someone might decide to tease me.
Catcalling is a compliment.
Yeah. And And by my high school, I was used to be so irritated by it. I would be like, that just don't bother. I would be just give it in my hand. It's just one little itty bitty
Yeah.
thing. I'm not adding to trash. I'm not adding trash to the environment. I'm not wasting paper. Just give it to me. I'll go home and use it. There's no point. And if somebody decides to catcall me on that, I'll throw a stone at them or my gentle at them for doing that. It's their fault. You're not responsible for protecting me against someone else's shit. Don't do that, please. Yeah, my rant's over. Okay. Flows your speech.
No.
Sweet, would you like to go?
Oh gosh, so okay. On one hand, I was raised that when you have a
Chaos.
period, you not to hide the fact that you had your period. That extreme is just stupid. However, if you have a heavily soaked, or you have your pad, very easy thing to do if you're changing a pad, you take the wrapper from the clean pad, you
And
wrap your pad in it, and you put it
roll
in
it
the
around.
trash.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
about
what it is
hiding
for.
the fact that you had your period. It's just not having visible blood in the trash. Same thing with a nosebleed. If you have a nosebleed, those tissues go in the toilet, they get flushed. That was the kind of, thing.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing as, like, it's not necessarily to hide the period, it is to prevent the period into getting into other things festering and getting really gross really fast, or
Smelly,
to
or
also
nobody
not
wants-
stain or leak or get gross on the sides of the
Yeah,
the garbage
but also
can.
like most human beings are uncomfortable at the sight of blood, right?
I mean, I think we should probably get over that. I think we should probably get over that a little bit.
Unless some of us do. I mean, think of all the people in the medical field that have no issue with it, right? But a lot of people are uncomfortable at the sight of blood. So to have something that is like a fairly sizable thing sometimes.
Yeah.
But they aren't, though.
It could be.
I
I'm
mean-
just saying. My point is that, like,
Yeah.
I understand wanting to keep your bathroom trash if it's open, if it's not like one with a lid, if you want to keep it looking presentable, right?
Right, if you got
want to wrap up
guests or
your
whatever.
worst stuff and you want to hide it. That's fine to me. I have no issue with that because it's not about gender, it's not about sex, it's not about any of that stuff. It's about keeping your environment clean and sanitary, right? That's okay. But when you say, like, oh, because you're a female and because you're with men in the house, you
Right.
need to go to these extra lengths that you wouldn't go through if you were with just all women in the house. I'm sorry, wait. We're the weaker sex? We're the ones that can handle violence and blood and all this stuff? What? I'm sorry.
The thing is that
I pushed a watermelon out of my vagina, and
Well, there's
you
a-
want to say
I think Nikki might also be on board with this one, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm gonna flip it over to her as I say this. Are periods unclean?
Not really.
Is blood
I mean, not
unclean?
inherently. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
so
it
blood.
depends.
Blood. If you have the
Yeah.
nosebleed example.
Right,
If I
so,
have a
like,
nosebleed,
How are
I'm
you
gonna try to
gonna?
put most of that in a toilet. I'm gonna try to get rid. I'm not gonna fill my trash up with bloody nose blood or any blood. I'm gonna
see,
get rid of
the
that
thing
because
for
I don't
me
want
has always
a
been
pile
about
of blood in my trash.
The thing for me has always been utility, right? If you're using anything besides toilet paper for your nosebleed, you do not flush that down the toilet. It's not meant to be flushed down the toilet.
No.
But if you're using something that can be flushed very easily, yeah, flush it. But you know what you don't flush?
Yeah.
Period pads, and you don't flush tampons. Don't flush those. You ruin everything. If you're doing that, you need to fucking stop right the hell now. No, stop.
Oh God,
Stop.
no.
Stop.
Oh God, no! I'm not saying flush period stuff.
Oh, I know
no,
you're not.
God,
I
no.
know you're not.
God, no. No, pads and tampons do not go in the toilet,
Go.
guys. No, please, no. My point is that it's honestly, as long as you have the financial means, it's not that hard. If you're wearing a pad, like you roll it
I
up.
think if you wrap it in the
roll some-
plastic, you wrap it in the plastic of the fresh one, and you're good to go. You
If
don't.
you don't have a
you
fresh
wrap,
one, if you're on your last one, you wrap it in some toilet paper
Little
and you put it
bit,
in the trash.
whatever.
It's not that hard. However, to say that you can't do that because God forbid your brother sees the rolled up tissue paper in the trash and knows it's because of your period, oh my God, they're going to have some sort of an issue. No.
Yeah, the other argument
Fuck
is
you.
that a tampon is, or a pad is sticky on either side, so you can roll a pad up onto itself provided it's maintained some of that stickiness, depending on whether or not how long you've been wearing it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
If it's
the edges and
yeah, if it's good
yeah.
enough, I think that's pretty much acceptable. Because who gives a shit?
Also,
why do you care
sorry,
that much?
Everybody in the chat that's still with us from the beginning, I love you, because we've had some conversations that most people
great.
don't want to have. So
10 out of 10. Okay, let's keep going.
Kudos. I love you guys.
My sons are teenage boys and they don't want to see their stepsister's period products on full display. Bite me. A few nights ago, I went into the kitchen to grab a snack and she was there doing some work for university. My wife had mentioned that she knew she was on her period, so I took it as an opportunity to have a word with her. I told her my sons were yeah, I know. I told her my sons were uncomfortable and asked her if she didn't mind putting her used products in diaper bags or flushing them down the toilet.
Oh, men. Naive little boy.
You probably should have asked your wife before you had this conversation. She laughed and told me it was rich coming from a man who shed like a gorilla and had produced 3 skid marking sons. Boom. Don't be very, very cautious if you're entering a conversation with a 19 or 20-year-old, informing them to change their period habits for your teenage sons. Seriously. This was a conversation you were not prepared for.
The ignorance is real. It's so real.
Flush them. Flush them, he says.
This girl is my hero, though.
Yeah, right? What a good answer.
That's a great answer.
Which I thought was just an unnecessary attack.
Of course you do.
Of course. Oh, his fifis. I've been nothing but nice to the girl, and it's hardly a comparison. Is she doing their laundry? Because I feel like it's even worse for her to be doing their laundry with skid marks. Go for it, sweet.
1 in the chat if you'd rather deal with some laundry with little blood on it, and 2 in the chat if you'd rather scrub some laundry with some shit on it.
It's worse than that, because that's not quite a fair comparison. So what it is that would you rather empty a trash can that you don't have to touch anything into a bag that might have some period products in them that are not necessarily wrapped in a bunch of stuff but are covered, or would you rather try and deal with laundry that has skid marks? 1 or 2? One in the chat.
Thank you. Yes, that's more accurate to the actual issue. You're right. I was being overly generous.
You're being too nice.
Why do I keep doing that?
All ones. It's all ones. I've been nothing but nice to this girl, and it's hardly a comparison. Correct. She was nicer to you than you are being. My sons shouldn't be subjected to her unhygienic products. Pads lock that shit in. It's not just loosey-goosey. That's kind of part of their shtick.
Also, if you have an actual disease, blood is not that bad.
It's not that dangerous.
I've dealt with people alright, there was a time I was at a mall when I was younger, and an old man had fallen, and I helped him up, and I got his blood all over me. Did I freak out? No. Could he have had a disease? Yes. It's scary. However, the odds
if it doesn't go in you
touching something or having an issue with somebody's blood, especially from a distance, God, when it's in something, you're not going to inhale the blood and get AIDS. That's not how it works. But with shit,
that is way more dangerous. Yes,
it's way more dangerous.
Steve says it doesn't matter to me as laundry is a woman's job. Actually, operating a laundry machine is heavy machine operation, so machine operating is man's work. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm waiting for this to get to the better part where it's,
Yeah, no. Okay, my sons shouldn't be. My son shouldn't be she's subjecting them to them by putting them in the trash can.
Oh God, what are they gonna do when they get married?
If it makes them feel uncomfortable. She went on to lecture me about how tampons can't be flushed and that it's bad for the environment if she uses diaper bags for everyone, which I think is just an excuse. I called her a scruff, I don't know what that means, and told her that this was my house and that what I say goes. Remember, this woman is 20, going on 20. This is a 19-year-old going on 20. He got offended because his sons have skid marks.
Means trash. Scruff means trash.
Oh, good. So he called his stepdaughter trash.
It's like you're not.
Where did she insult him again? Where did she call names? Yeah. I don't recall her saying any names. She just laughed at him for being ignorant and shedding.
I hope she took the kids and ran.
Okay, no, the wife? This is the daughter. So, what? Okay, this is the daughter he's talking to. Oh, wait, you call the
daughter a scruff?
Yes, this is the stepdaughter.
I thought he called his wife a scruff.
No, this is the stepdaughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then.
Uh-huh. You ready?
Well then.
You ready? This is my house and what I says goes. This is why he probably should have talked to his wife before having these. Men, talk to your wives. If you're gonna have these conversations, if you have access to them and they're not complete douchebags, talk to your wives before you decide to go and make any kind of punishment or any kind of discussion with a child, because you guys need to be on the same page, and you might be missing something. This applies for women too. Women, if you're gonna go like at your kids about something, talk to your husband and maybe make sure you're both on the same page, because they might know something you don't. Just saying.
It's not that hard.
If you have access.
You might just discover that either way, you married an asshole. You might want to address
it's possible, yeah. All right, so what I say goes. I later asked my wife, good, if she could have a word with her, and she told me I was being ridiculous and that her daughter has had her period for 10 years and she knows what she's doing. Yay, Mom!
Yay.
When I
she
told
also
her
needs to kick him in the balls at least just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
When I told her it was making my sons uncomfortable, she said my sons needed to get a grip and turned over and went to sleep. Like mother, like daughter.
Can she
learned well.
Instead?
Right?
Right.
This is a genuine issue to me, and she didn't care enough to have a discussion about it. I asked my stepdaughter again in the morning, and she did the same thing as her mother, completely dismissed it. Both of them have told me to stop being so silly, but I don't see how I'm being unreasonable when it makes my sons uncomfortable. Am I the asshole? Yes, because you did not approach this conversation in a reasonable manner in any way. You deserve to be dismissed. They tried to explain it to you, and you called them trash, you a dick. The fuck?
Raise sons better so they're not uncomfortable. It's not that bad. It's not that crazy.
Seriously.
There's no reason your son should be uncomfortable. Or if they really are, if you've pulled it all stops and you've done everything that a human adult can do to make them comfortable, like do all our stuff right, and they are still uncomfortable, have them. I don't know what to do in that situation. But it's like.
Mr. Victory says make the sons take out the trash if they don't like bloody tampons.
Yeah, like...
They'll get used to it.
If it's their discomfort, for an unreasonable discomfort, you have to make them cope with it. In whatever way works for them.
If you've got a son, if one of your sons is like, has some kind of issue where they have like a fear of blood, like it's a phobia or something, that's different. But that you've clearly made it not the case. They're mildly uncomfortable, and the oldest was like, hey, this is kind of gross. You need to tell your son to be like, are you not planning on marrying a woman? Or living with a woman ever? Because you might want to get used to this shit.
Well, a lot of these kids, like, they be like, oh, my, sons, they can't see period blood, but then they go on and play Call of Duty, and they, like, watch 300, and it's, like, blood everywhere, and that's so great, it's awesome, but, ew, it comes out of the vagina, ugh.
To be fair, I've had some pretty gross periods before. I've grossed myself out before. But you know what I do?
Gross.
You know what I do? I deal with it. That's what I do. I deal with it, because I have to deal with it.
you know why we deal with it? Because we're women and we have to.
Yeah.
Somehow
All right.
we deal with the big disgusting clots and the pain and like all that stuff. We deal with it.
No,
You know
you're
who
not
doesn't
allowed
deal
to.
with
You're
it?
only allowed to deal with it in a way that your dad tells you to.
Yeah.
Because he would know.
Yeah.
All right.
Thankfully my dad never even touched that stuff.
You guys
It was
ready
not
for
even
the
an issue?
You guys ready for the update? We're gonna do the update, and then because they updated this, and then we'll wrap it up. Update. Not even 2 hours after I posted this, my wife and stepdaughter gathered my sons and I and gave us a full intensive period for pricks course. PowerPoint and all. It was a hoot. They made it an interactive quiz and everything. My sons and I learned a lot and apologized to my stepdaughter. Thank you for your input. I really want this guy to link the PowerPoint. Can we have it? I want it.
Absolutely.
They made a PowerPoint.
If we can't get it, can we make it? Because I bet we can make it.
We should totally do that, yeah. Yep. So I just wanted to point out to you guys, so I got rid of the ones that we talked about already. So, but this is still how many I have for parenting. It's only parenting.
Oh, I'm sure it'll only grow. It'll only grow.
Oh, we'll definitely be doing more of these, but oh, they made a PowerPoint. I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. But yep. Yay, happy ending! I like that they called it period for pricks. And then, like, they actually, like... Because it shows you that the women weren't actually just dismissing them in their entirety. They dismissed the conversation at the time, clearly talked to each other about it, and then thought of a productive way to have the conversation. And like we were saying, it's not good to necessarily dismiss them if there's actually some kind of issue, but this is... Seriously, this is a non-issue. This is something that, unless there's something else going on, this shouldn't be an issue. And what did the women do? They got together, came up with a plan to be able to explain this in a way that they might understand, that was amusing and fun for everybody, got them and communicated with them instead of telling them, oh, it's my house, my rules, fuck you, woman. You don't get to do with your periods.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love it.
It's such a good end. I told you it had a good ending.
Happy ending.
I promised.
The best kind of happy ending you don't have to pay for.
Did I keep my word?
You did. You did.
Yay! So I think
Gabo is a Gabo, but Gabo is honest Gabo.
I kept my word. I did what I said. I'm a nice guy. So if you have any questions in the chat, you have like a minute to ask your questions. We're already at the 2-hour mark. We did start a little bit late because of that little hiccup at the beginning. Sorry for the technical issues today. I don't know what was wrong. My Firefox was just eating shit. We seemed to be fine once we had Chrome running, so maybe we'll use that next time and hopefully avoid the problem. I feel like it's going to be one of those where you just bounce back and forth, and some days this is going to cause problems, some days this is going to cause problems, but this is always the case. I think at the end of the day, we are definitely on the not all men, but definitely fuck this guy. Yeah. Fuck that one guy. What a fucking moron. Oh, my 13-year-old's using tampons. Oh no. What do I do? If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good shit bullshittery. Thank you for everybody who did leave super chats. It is much appreciated. If you want to become a member, that is also an option. Question asked by Speedy Smoke says, question, what did we learn today?
That the majority of parents are very ignorant, and some often not through any fault of their own. But it's important to have really difficult conversations to foster improvement and to actually do what's best for the child and not what's best for the parent.
And whatever your sensibilities is. And maybe don't judge people who are lashing out too harshly. When somebody's a parent, there's a lot going on with them, and sometimes a lash out can be a request for help, and instead of trying to help people as an individual, sending them resources is probably going to be the best bet for them, because there's only so much you can do, and there's only so much you can do from so far away. Does anybody have any last words? Last words! Nikki, do you want to go first?
I'm going first without your permission. Love you.
Oh, okay. Bye!
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Oh. Well.
Nikki?
Oh, okay. I didn't know what was happening. I got confused.
She's just dipping fast.
Oh, okay.
She's got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying that.
That's inappropriate. Okay. Just remember that your kids have their own bodily autonomy. That's just the main thing that I can glean from any kind of parenting. Teaching kids consent and bodily autonomy is one of the most important things you can do for them in the long run. If they have both of those things, then they know when to end a situation and stuff like that. And everything else is just a matter of opinion, you know. Don't be a jerk to your kids, you know. Apologize and stuff like that. That's really all I can say because I don't have any kids. So
yeah, learning to apologize and communicate. Don't treat your children like children most of the time. Like, expect them to behave in a way that's appropriate for their age group and area and their maturity level. But that doesn't mean you need to treat them like they're invalids. Treating somebody like a child means that it shouldn't mean that you're talking down to them. What it should mean is that you're being more patient than you would be with an adult because they don't have that capability or that experience. However, when it comes to communication, just talk to them like they're fucking people because they're people? Maybe!
Yeah. They might not have the cognitive ability to be a full adult, but they're still people, you know? It's not that hard to just take a step back sometimes and realize that even though they're being an asshole, you don't have to be an asshole back, you know, because it's, you know, they're trying to figure stuff out. It's not always their fault.
Amy in the chat said keep it at their level, though. I agree and I disagree with that. I think going more advanced isn't going to hurt them. You want them to understand, but if you over-explain something, unless you're doing it all the time and you're way overdoing it, I don't think it's necessarily a problem. If a kid asks you what a rainbow is and you actually explain that light comes down from the sky and there's water in the sky and the light bounces off the water and it makes pretty colors, you're not necessarily explaining wavelengths and you're not explaining, like, you could go into that and maybe get too complicated, but if they understand the concept, there's not really much of a problem. But you don't have to just say, oh, it's just some pretty stuff in the sky, right? So you could go both ways. Manya, are you there? You're muted and you're off, so I'm not sure if she's there. She may have had to go run and take a phone call because that has happened. Alright, I'm gonna assume she's not there. We're gonna wrap it up. I apologize for the like and subscribe and shit, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.